Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game Masters, a show where we like to show off other parts of gaming that maybe not that aren't necessarily speedrunning, but still show off expertise in a game. And today we're going to be having Pokemon VGC rule set here, featuring Pengi. Before we get to that, I just have a couple quick announcements. So you can go to youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick to check out all past GDQ Hotfix VODs as well as past GDQ runs. And we're trying to get those up as soon as possible after each of the different broadcasts throughout the week. So, check out that YouTube channel if you want to see any past VODs. And you can feel free to tweet at GamesDoneQuick to tell us what you're interested in. And we're also looking for new hotfix shows starting every other Wednesday in November. You can join me on Wednesdays as I'm the restreamer. And if you have any ideas for hotfix shows, you can email hotfix@gamesdonequick.com with your ideas, as well as 2 show concepts for that. And also, we have an online all-women speedrunning event, Frame Fatales, returning with another event, Fleet Fatales, on November 15th. You can go to gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more info on that. And with that, I have the pleasure to be joined by Pengi, as well as our restreamer today, Railcoon. Pengi, how are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you doing, Richard?
I am doing good. I've known Pengi for many, many years now. Met you on a plane, even.
I actually forgot about that. My earliest memories of Richard here is very, very, very late night Mafia games.
Yeah. But Pengi's going to be showing off a few different teams in Pokemon today. Do you want to talk about those a little bit?
Yeah, so I figured that I'd show off a couple of different playstyles. The way that we're going to go about doing this is I'm going to be starting with probably the most relevant Series 6 team. So to explain, basically, the rule set we're on is Series 6. That's what the ladder is. Essentially, they added a ban list. So a lot of the most popular Pokemon in tournament play recently are banned on the ladder. So we're going to be using a slightly different pool of Pokemon than you might be used to seeing. If you've been watching VGC lately, we've been seeing a lot of Cinderace, a lot of Rillaboom, a lot of Dragapult, a lot of Togekiss. All of those kinds of mons, they're all banned. We're not allowed to use any of those cool mons. So we're using a little bit of a smaller pool, which actually has led to a lot more variety in the playstyles, because you don't have like these really crazy strong threats that you have to account for in every team, which I think is really fun. So to start things off, we're going to be taking a team by Yoshi and Lugia. There was recently a women's tournament that had something like 270 signups. It was the biggest tournament that we've had on Series 6 rules so far. This is the team that won that tournament. After that, I'll be showing off the team that I've been using, which is a very stally team. It's been very, very fun. It's cool. I enjoy it. And then finally, I'll be showing off a bit more of a hyper-offensive team, a really, really aggressive team, courtesy of my friend Jacario, who threw that over to me. I actually don't think it's his team, but he's the one who threw it over to me. And actually, I figured he just got me the rental code right before we went live. So I thought I would show you guys what rental codes are, because I feel like there's a lot of people who have watched Pokemon or who've played Pokemon and who aren't into the competitive scene, who don't even really know that a lot of things exist, a lot of resources. So we have rental teams for a thing that exists in Pokemon Sword and Shield, where players can publish a team, and that will have a code, and you can rent and use that team without actually needing to make all of the Pokemon, because making the Pokemon can be quite a bit of a chore. So I figured I would show you guys how that works. So we'll be throwing in the rental code. It's in the versus Seeker area, the versus Stadium. Then you go manage teams you're renting. It's very, very simple. You need to have access to a rental code, but there's a lot of them on Reddit. There's a lot of them on Twitter. It's not the hardest to find rental codes. Maybe if you have a friend who plays, they can make you a rental code. And yeah, it's very, very simple. You just throw in the rental code, click the plus button, wait a little bit, and there's our team. This is the third team we're going to be using. This is it's a Trick Room hyper-offensive option. It has a lot of Pokemon that have been pretty popular this year without being popular enough to be banned. We've got Mr. Fish himself, Dracovish in here. Choice Banded Gigalith is a thing that's going to be fun. So, what are VGC rules? I feel like that's a question that people who, especially people who are more into the speedrunning side of Pokemon, might not realize what competitive Pokemon rules entail. So, basically, you bring 6 Pokemon. As you just saw, we had 6 Pokemon there. You bring 6 Pokemon. That's your team. Of those 6, you bring 4 to the fight. And it's doubles. So you have 2 on the field at each period of time. You can only have 1 of each Pokemon variant. You can't have the same held item twice, for example. Like, there's a few rules like that. But for the sake of brevity, doubles 4 versus 4 is essentially what we're going to be working with. So let's jump into ranked ladder, because casual ladder is there's a different rule set there. There's no rules there, basically. You can use anything you want. So we're going to jump right on in, and we're going to start things off with the Yoshi and Lugia mid-range.
And just to talk about what we're going to do for the format today, Tengi's going to be using this team for about an hour or so, and then we're going to be switching to the 2 other teams for the next 2 hours after that.
Yep, exactly. And to answer a question in chat, Railkin already got that, but yes, the levels are all auto-leveled to 50 in doubles, or in VGC. If you play singles, Smogon rules, they're auto-leveled to 100, but in VGC, they're auto-leveled to 50, which doesn't make a massive difference. There's some very, very small differences, like each EV, or you need 8 EVs for 1 stat in each stat, or as opposed to 4, which that's getting into the weeds a little bit. We don't really need to talk specifically about EV training right now. And when it comes to other game mechanics, Pokemon has a lot of really random mechanics that might come up or might not. So rather than sitting down and lecturing you guys for an hour and a half, I figure I'll just bring them up as they arise in the games. It's a little bit more fun that way and less like a college course. All right, so we're playing against the ranked 298 person. And let's see. So we're going up against Primarina here, Dusclops. This is an interesting team. This is kind of like, they have a Trick Room option here. Dusclops is a Trick Room setter. They have some very hyper-offensive options as well, though. One of the biggest things to note with Terrakion is its ability Justified. So if it's hit with a Dark-type move, its attack will increase by 1 stage. So it's often paired with a beat-up user. Beat-up is a Dark-type move that hits 4 times. There are no beat-up users on this team, though, so that's more likely to be a bit more of a supportive Terrakion, maybe using something like Coaching. I am on a time limit, so I'm not going to go too in the weeds about all that just yet. I need to actually figure out what I'm bringing. Let's see. Talonflame's pretty good here. I like Talonflame. Lapras. I really like bringing Urshifu with this team. Just like having Urshifu in the back, so nice to clean up against pretty much anything. And I guess we'll go with Serena. Why not? So, the way this team sort of functions is that this is more of a mid-rangey team. It's a pretty offensive team. It leans a little bit more towards hyper-offensive, but Lapras is essentially going to be our Gigantamax Pokemon, our Dynamax option most of the time. Lapras is one of the best Dynamax Pokemon in the game. The reason for that is because, so the way Gigantamax Pokemon work is that if you Dynamax, every move of a type turns into that type's respective Dynamax move. So like, Max Airstream is the flying one. Max Flare is the fire one. The difference with Gigantamax Pokemon is that they get their own unique move. And Lapras's ice moves turn into G-Max Resonance, which basically... hold on. Okay. So that allows... it sets up Aurora Veil on our side of the field, which lowers the damage that we take from both physical and special moves. We're going up against a Dracovish here. I don't want to Dynamax right away because I have Freeze Dry, which is quadruple effective against Dracovish. So we're going to Tailwind, which should allow my Lapras to outspeed, I think. This thing's probably Choice Scarf, so this might be a little bit yikes, but... Okay, interesting. So he withdraws the Terrakion, shows us Ferrothorn. I'm okay with that. The question now is, do we outspeed the Dracovish here? No, so that's gonna be a dead Talonflame, but I'm okay with that. Talonflame's entire purpose is to set up hit, so that's not a huge deal. Trading Talonflame for Dracovish is a very Sylveon is very good. I'll try to address him. Sylveon is pretty good. It's not bad. It's one of those like B tier mons, I would say. All right, so Urshifu is a good option for us to throw into the ring right now. It has a choice band, which should allow it to just mess up that Ferrothorn pretty well. The Ferrothorn is also not a bad target for max resonance. Interesting. So Rage Powder could be a very real thing that we run. I think we're actually going to switch out. I'll go into Tsarina here. Because, so, the Volcarona, it can be a hyper-offensive option, but it also knows Rage Powder, Struggle Bug. It knows a lot of moves that are very good in a supportive way. So, we do outspeed it because of Tailwind. It might be Focus Sash, which, Focus Sash is an item that if your HP is depleted entirely from full, it will prevent you from fainting, and the Pokemon will live on 1 HP. It could be Focus Sash. I'm not really sure. Feel free to jump in anytime, by the way, Richard or Railkin.
Okay.
We can just have a dialogue. Let's have a nice casual situation. Hanging out.
Yeah, let's. You know, I do have a question for you actually. What kind of made you interested in competitive Pokemon? Like, what is your history with competitive Pokemon?
So, my history with Pokemon is that I used to speedrun a lot of Pokemon Coliseum. And from there, I speedran a little bit of a few different... Okay, this is a few different Pokemon games here and there. I spent a lot of time on Pokemon Let's Go. I did quite a bit of Pokemon Sword when it first came out. But Pokemon, like competitive Pokemon, just really started to interest me about last year. Like about a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago, and I initially looked into getting into it, and then I realized, you know what, the new Pokemon is coming out soon. I might as well just wait for the new Pokemon to be out. So from there, Sword came out. I started sort of looking into it, and I met my friend Necra, who's a very good friend of mine. I met her around September last year, so she's a commentator and does a lot of stuff as well as other games, but she had to commentate, or she had to host a StarCraft event, and she didn't know anything about StarCraft. So I taught her StarCraft, and she helped get me into Pokemon. That was our sort of trade there. So that was sort of my start. And then from there, I've just been grinding a lot of Mons for the last 9 months, 10 months or so.
Very cool.
So Leech Seed comes in here. This is so the Ferrothorn, the way they're playing this, the Ferrothorn is essentially meant to be hyper defensive, and it's supposed to stall me out. It has Iron Defense, which is a little bit awkward for me to deal with because I have 2 physical Pokemon here, as well as a Lapras. That something that, like, Lapras is not great against Ferrothorn. That being said, Urshifu's signature move is Wicked Blow, which crits 100% of the time. And in critting 100% of the time, critical hits ignore buffs to defense. So the fact that it has +2 defense will be ignored. Now, that thing is still extremely defensive anyway, so it could be a little bit awkward, but we'll see. I believe our Tailwind is running out this turn, which is actually a little bit of a concern because we kind of need to get rid of the Terrakion. The Terrakion outspeeds the Urshifu and can hit us super effectively. So I think we're in a little bit of an awkward middle ground spot where I need to get rid of Ferrothorn, but I also kind of need to get rid of Terrakion.
Would this be a situation where if you still had Talonflame, it would be useful for you because of the Ferrothorn?
So kinda. It would be really nice to get Tailwind up again to help us outspeed the Volcarona and the Terrakion, which are both quite fast Pokemon. Both of them have very, very high base speed, faster than anything else on our team. So that would be really nice. When it comes to actually dealing damage to the Ferrothorn is double weak to fire, but it has such high defensive stats and Talonflame has such low attacking stats that it actually wouldn't be amazing. It wouldn't be the worst thing, but any other fire move would be better. Like, Ferrothorn does act as a little bit of a wall here, which is a bit of an issue. The other concern is, I think... So we have Aurora Veil up. We're going to hope that that gets us the... You know what, actually, we're going to be a little YOLO here. I'm going to go freeze on the Ferrothorn. Oh, right, he still has Dynamax. I forgot about that. So they're playing an extremely slow style here. The team is not slow. They have a slow option, which they're playing very, very well. Terrakion is a potential issue here. The fact that it's Dynamax means that its super effective fighting moves will only be 95 power, which is a lot weaker than they would have otherwise been, but... Okay, so that actually kills us. Interesting. I wasn't sure if that would kill us through Aurora Veil. We're in a bit of a bad spot this game, lads and lasses. I don't actually know how much this is going to do. It'll do a chunk, though. Yeah, no critical hit, just killed it. All right, awesome. Down goes Terrakion. We're still not in a great spot. If that Ferrothorn uses Body Press, I'm pretty sure we're dead on a Leech Seed. That's fine. Oh, and it misses too. Nice. Okay. So the problem is we don't really have a great way to deal with Ferrothorn, and by that I mean we don't have a way to Ferrothorn. Serena does not hit it well at all. Urshifu hits it super effectively with close combat, but it's already +2 defense because of the iron defense. Wicked Blow ignores that +2. But my win condition here might be to actually hope for a crit. We're also choiced into close combat anyway, we have to use it. Which is a little annoying because the Urshifu is faster than the Tsarina, so Rage Powder will force the Urshifu's attack to go into the Volcarona, which is not great. We don't really have a play here. I think we need our Urshifu to survive one more turn. We need to crit the Ferrothorn, I think. So the way choice items work, just to talk a little bit about some of the items. Our Urshifu is running Choice Band. There's also that's game. That's 30%, unfortunately. So the way choice items work is that there's a choice Scarf, which is speed, choice Specs, which is special attack, and choice Band, which is attack, and they multiply their corresponding stat by 1.5 times, but they lock you into using only the first move that you use. So the issue with Burning is that critical hits do not ignore... So Burning halves all of the damage done by physical moves, and the critical hits do not ignore them. So we don't really have a win con here. We'll attack in, and we'll see if we get a crit. We'll see how much damage it does. I actually don't know. But let's find out. Now, if I had more of a Stally team, I could try to play timer here. But we're not going to win on timer, so I'm not going to win.
Do you want to talk about the time mechanics a little bit? Because, you know, that's something that... You know, if someone is just getting into this, it might be a lot of decisions all at once that they might need to make.
Timer is probably going to be more important on the second team that we use today. Basically, you'll see when we go into the next... we're just going to forfeit this game, I think. We have a win con, but it's... I don't actually think we do have a win con. I think we would need to crit like 2 close combats in a row, and they can actually just... I mean, I don't know why they're not attacking us. I'll talk about the time when we actually get past the turn, though. So, initially, you'll see that we have turn time and your time as 2 things that are shown on the top right in a second. There's a lot of animations with this Ferrothorn. Alright. Yeah, so you'll see your time over on the right. That's the time that I'm basically spending thinking of my moves. If that runs out, you lose. Move time is how long you have for this specific turn. If you don't input something, it will automatically pick the first... slots, or I mean, it would pick close combats since we're locked into it. And playing timer basically refers to the game timer. Games are limited to 20 minutes. If the game timer runs out, you'll get a warning 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and 1 minute before the game runs out of time. And if that timer runs out, you're put into basically a series of what's the word I'm looking for? Tiebreakers. So basically, whoever has more Pokemon wins. Most of the time, there's going to be a 1 versus 1 situation at that point in time, in which case, the player who has more of their overall, a higher percentage of their entire team's HP wins. So you get into, like, mental math mode. The funny thing as well is that, like, even at, like, higher ranks, like, most people tend to play offensive teams. So, like, it's not uncommon to run into people who don't know how timer works and still manage to win from games that you shouldn't win. Obviously, that wouldn't happen in a tournament against somebody, like, really good, but on ladder, it does happen sometimes. It's always pretty funny. Why Dark Urshifu over Water? Dark Urshifu is generally considered to be much better in Series 6 because a lot of the fairy type options are banned. Popular fairy type options, like most notably Togekiss, are gone. Not an issue at all. So the quadruple weakness to fairy is not a huge issue. Also, generally speaking, dark type coverage is better than the water type coverage. Water type Urshifu is, I don't know if it's better in Series 5 than dark, but it is more common. At least recently, it looks like it's a little bit more common. For this team, this is not my team, so I don't want to assume for Yoshi and Lugia. My guess would be it's just like my guess would be that the Dark Urshifu just covers the options that were not covered by the team a little bit better than the Water Urshifu. Okay, so jumping into another one here. Speaking of fairy options, we have a Sylveon. Now, also speaking of fairy options and the Dark Urshifu, we also run Poison Jab on this Pokemon, which covers for certain fairy types. This would probably one-hit KO that Sylveon. Sylveon has very, very low physical, so that probably takes it out. Oh, this is a Gigantamax Urshifu. I did not notice that. That's also good to know. Something that's worth noting, since I talked about choice items a little bit, choice items are not functional in Dynamax. If you Dynamax the Pokemon, the choice item is negated for the duration of the Dynamax. Otherwise, that would be very, very, very broken. So they have a Talonflame as well. So we're going to open Talonflame Raichu. Raichu runs Fake Out, which will prevent them potentially from setting up Tailwind. Serena is not necessary here, I don't think. Let's actually go Duraludon here. Oh, we're playing Animus? I didn't even notice that. Animus is quite good, yeah. So Animus, I believe, is... He won a regional, right? Yeah, I'm going to check Twitter real quick. I believe he's won a regional. Yeah, he's won a regional, so this guy's very good.
Yeah, but I believe in you.
Oh, I beat him last time we played. Best of one, anyone.
There you go.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, so we don't actually have a dual wing beat on this Talonflame, which is not really relevant in this situation. It's just something that I just noticed. But yeah, we run Heat Wave on this Talonflame, so to kind of cycle way back to the question that Rayokin asked about the Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn doesn't actually care about Heat Wave on Talonflames. Not having Talonflame wasn't the biggest deal in the world in the last game. So Talonflame's ability is Gale Wings, which basically, for those who haven't played Pokemon since Red, Blue, Gold, Silver era, ever since Generation 3, Pokemon have abilities, which are basically passive things that make them a little bit more unique. They're essentially passive benefits that the Pokemon gets, or not always benefits, but generally benefits. So the Talonflame's ability is that it has priority. All of its flying moves have priority if it has full HP. So the Fake Out on that Talonflame is quite nice. The Icy Wind from the Gengar here slows us down a little bit, but Tailwind doubles our speed. So we're still faster than we were last. The awkward situation here is that neither of these are threats. So I think what we actually just go for is we'll go Brave Bird into the Talonflame. No, we won't. That's silly. Brave Bird to the Gengar, I guess, and Volt Switch out. So Volt Switch is a nice ability, a nice move. It essentially it does damage and switches out the Raichu. So it gives us a free switch. And I believe this should knock out the Talonflame. Oh, no, it doesn't. That's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. I feel like we just maxed Duraludon this game.
What's going through your mind right now? You know, since that didn't.
So right now, as soon as you asked that, I got a lot happier because that Talonflame is Great Bird Recoil. And I'm pretty happy because he didn't use Tailwind. I was a little worried that we were going to allow that Talonflame to get off Tailwind. Oh, okay, that's cute. So the Gengar is going to drop Trick Room. So that explains why they weren't going for Tailwind. Trick Room is essentially it reverses speed, like the order, the speed of the Pokemon essentially. Like the slowest Pokemon will go first. So that messes with us a lot. We do have Sucker Punch on Urshifu, though, which is priority. So we're going to send Urshifu out here. All right. Let's see. So with Choice Band, Close Combat is going to do a lot to Lapras, but Lapras is going to drop a G-Max. Sucker Punch is a priority move. But it also only works if Gengar attacks. I still think it's our best play, though. So we're going to... maybe Maxing is the best play here, TBH. Although, Gengar might run Dazzling Gleam, which would essentially buff us real hard. So I think we're just going to Sucker Punch here. Drop Max Lightning. Jinfurai says double target Lapras. Not a bad idea. I just don't... I'm not confident that Urshifu lives. Because, like, Urshifu... We're in Tailwind, so the Urshifu outspeeds the Urshifu would be faster than the Gengar, and we're also not Focus Sash. If we were Focus Sash, that might have been a play, but I'm a little bit scared about letting the Gengar Dazzling Gleam. By the way, guys, Jinfurai in chat is also a very, very good, very high-level VGC player and an exceptionally funny streamer. So check his stream out.
Yeah, let's maybe talk about the community a bit, because you know there are a bunch of people in the community that play. Yeah, go ahead.
Happy for a second that I'm just gonna take this opportunity to laugh at Jinfurai for saying that we shouldn't sucker punch into the Gengar. The downside is actually we just had our punch disabled, so we have to switch out. We have to switch out our Urshifu because it doesn't have any moves because it'll just use Struggle. Anyway, go on. Community.
Yeah. I just had a question about how involved are you in the community, and like what kind of things are going on within Pokemon VGC?
So I'm not like super involved. As of like I get more involved over relative Pokemon standards, so I've only been doing this for about 10 months. But as of this week, some people who are familiar with A-Drive's content might be familiar with the WBE, which is basically I think Duraludon is about to die, which is anything I can do to in here. So those who are familiar with A-Drive's content, WBE, which is a draft league. There's a singles draft league and a doubles draft league. I believe the doubles one is new this season. But so as of this week, I've been doing. I joined one of the coaching teams, front office, so to speak, for one of the teams. So that's been fun. Other than that, it's mostly just I've made a fair few friends here and there throughout the last. Ooh, that was lucky. Not lucky, but I didn't expect to live that. But I've made quite a lot of friends over the last 10 months. I'm around in the community, you could say. That's not Focus Sash. Okay. Oh, that crit might have mattered. Considering that they have Aurora Veil up, I think that actually. That's pretty hog. Tailwind is down. Trick Room is still up. Priority moves being things like Swift. No, Swift is not a priority move. Basically, the way priority works. We're just going to double into this Lapras here. This might KO because we're on... hold on. 2 more turns of Trick Room is actually a little bit unfortunate here. I don't actually know if we have this. We'll see. So, speed determines which Pokemon will go. Wow, we're slower than the Lapras. That's a huge deal.
Nice.
That actually, I think, means that we win. If he targets the Duraludon here, he loses. The Urshifu is KO'd, but Trick Room is still up, and we know that we're going first. So I think we actually win here. So basically, priority is something that sort of supersedes speed. So the fastest Pokemon goes first. However, if you remember the really old games, if you remember Quick Attack, for example, Quick Attack always went first in Pokemon Red. Quick Attack is a priority move. There's a whole priority bracket, a whole set of priority that supersedes speed. So Quick Attack, as an example, is +1 priority. Sucker Punch is also +1 priority, I believe. I don't actually run Sucker Punch that much. Might be +2. Then you have redirection things like Rage Powder, Follow Me, which forces you to target a single Pokemon. Those are +2. Oh, he's fat. Oh, he stalled the last turn of Trick. Okay, that was smart. We lose.
Yeah.
Good play by Animus there. Not really much I could do in that situation. Very, very well played. And yeah, that's a very, very close game.
I think most of the attack moves for priority are +1, except for Fake Out is much higher.
No, it's +3. Extreme Speed is +2. There's a few here and there.
Yeah.
A lot of the support moves are priority or higher priority. So for example, like Helping Hand is +7 priority. It actually goes before Protect. And yeah, so I know there's some +3 stuff. Fake Out's +3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of things that are random priority. There's also negative priority. So Trick Room, for example, -7 priority. Something like Dragon Tail is -6 priority. So Dragon Tail is supposed to go last, usually, but it will go before Trick Room. So back in Series 1, Series 2, there were a couple people running Dragon Tail on Duraludon specifically to counter Trick Room because you'd be switching out them on using Trick Room before it could use Trick Room. All right. Speaking of Trick Room, this is a Trick Room team. It's not a hard Trick Room team. Delmice has 40 base speed, which is very, very slow. Okay, this is kind of interesting. Probably the last game we do with this team. I have to adjust my Discord mic settings as well. I'm not... can you tell me what you want me to do, Roken? Let me just...
Yeah, just, I'll just do it on air then. Just take your input sensitivity and drag it to the left a little bit.
1 sec. Alright. I just get here. Let's do Duraludon. Alright. Sorry, what did you want me to do, Roken?
Under voice and video settings, just drag your input sensitivity to the left a little bit. It's the yellow and green bar.
Alright, how's that?
Should be good.
Alright. Cool. Let me know if there's any issues. Speaking of community, there is currently a charity marathon of Pokemon-related things. I believe there is going to be some speed runs here and there involved in that. Oh, hold on. Let me just reset my capture card real quick since it's being a little bit stuttery. This happens sometimes. Cheap capture card. But yeah, so Pokethon is currently going on the Jay Witz's channel. Highly recommend checking that out. I believe they're doing a Crystal Randomizer right now. I think it's a Crystal Randomized Catch-em-all, actually. So we're going to go for the Freeze-Dry opener again. We're going to fake out the Vish slot. Basically, the reason why I do this is that Dracovish almost exclusively carries Choice Scarf or Choice Band. So there's no chance of it using Protect. And yeah, he's going to allow me to take out the freeze, take out the Dracovish for free, which is very, very nice. Trick Room could well go down here, but we're not playing with Tailwind this time, so it's not going to be as big of a deal. Yep, there we go.
How big is an advantage at taking out a Pokemon before Trick Room comes out?
So Dracovish is interesting. This is kind of a weird lead. Dracovish relies very heavily on Vicious Rend, which is basically a move that gets so many multipliers that it does an absurd amount of damage. So essentially, what we're gonna do here, by the way, is we're going to max guard the Lapras, and try to nuzzle the Delmice to get a paralysis. So, the Vicious Rend relies so much on all of these multipliers, and the biggest multiplier is if Dracovish goes before the opponent, the damage is doubled. There's also a whole bunch of other multipliers, like the fact that Dracovish is water and the move is water, so it gets the same type of attack bonus, which is a 1.5 times multiplier. Generally speaking, they run Strong Jaw as the ability as well, which is another 1.5 times multiplier. A lot of the time it'll be on rain teams, which is another ×2 multiplier. So it basically, you get to a point where if you see a Dracovish, the Dracovish's goal is to use Vicious Rend. Another bit of coverage that people put on it is Psychic Fangs, though, which negates, it basically breaks screens. So it would break the Aurora Veil that we would be trying to set up with Lapras. So that makes sense as an opener. I think that's probably what they were going for. But you don't need to Dynamax. Oh, okay. So that's a Weakness Policy Delmice. Weakness Policy is an item that when you're hit with a super effective move, it gives you +2 attack and +2 special attack. Which puts us in a very awkward situation now, because we need a full paralysis this turn, I think. Which is not a great situation to be in. Because that thing will almost definitely one-shot us.
Well, you got it.
No, we just paralyzed it, and we protected. So we need a full paralysis now.
Oh, I thought you meant that turn, okay.
No. So the paralyze is guaranteed on Nuzzle. Nuzzle is an extremely weak attack, but it has a 100% chance to paralyze. So we're basically opening the floor to possible flinch hacks here. Or sorry, para hacks. Hacks are basically what we refer to as bad luck for the opponent. Ally switch is a thing that could happen here as well. That's something that Dusclops usually carries, which switches the position of the two Mons. I'm actually going to nuzzle into the Delmice again, just in case it's ally switch, just so I can get a paralysis off on the... Okay, so no paralysis. That's going to be a dead Lapras. That's very unfortunate. We're in a very awkward spot now, where I think we kind of need to stall Trick Room. But the nice thing about Delmice is that Delmice will get one-shotted very, very easily by our Urshifu. So, I'm pretty sure that thing is not running Ally Switch at this point. That would have been a very obvious turn to use it. We're going to bring out Duraludon, mostly because I'm just trying to buy time for the Trick Room to end. And also to stall the final turn of Dynamax on the Delmice. We have 2 more turns of Trick Room. Ideally, we'll get a full Paralyze this turn. That would be very, very nice. Let's see. This is a little awkward. I'm not really sure what the optimal play here is. Duraludon doesn't really do much against either of these Mons. I think we just go for... go into the Dusclops. We one-shot the Delmice with Urshifu anyway, so I think we just kind of leave the Delmice and hope that we get some para hacks on our side.
You know, when you talk about not being sure what, you know, the best move is, what is kind of like, you know, the range of moves that you're looking at that your opponent has? Is that like, I don't know. So, you know, I am very unfamiliar with Pokemon, so I'm just kind of curious, you know, what kind of, like, you know, moves could opposing Pokemon have? Is it like pretty set in stone for, you know, various teams, or does it vary a lot?
It really kind of depends. So Dusclops, for example, is a little bit annoying because there's like 7 or 8 moves that it can run in the meta that are like decent moves. Delmice, for example, we pretty much know what that Delmice is running. The Delmice is going to be running Anchor Shot, which is its signature move. It's probably going to be running Poltergeist and Power Whip. Those are its 3 attacking moves for Steel, Ghost, and Grass type. And then it could be running something else like another coverage move like maybe Grassy Glide, some priority. Maybe but usually when it comes to attacking mons, you have a generally good idea. But when it comes to sort of trying to calculate your own best move, it's just really trying to think about what puts you in the best position going forward and playing to your outs. So at this point, I've said it a couple times now, we're basically in a position where we need him to be fully paralyzed. If he doesn't get fully paralyzed, we lose anyway. So we just kind of play assuming he's going to get fully paralyzed, because otherwise, if he doesn't get fully paralyzed, it doesn't really matter what we do. Ever since the weakness policy was procced.
How unusual is that weakness policy? Because it seemed to throw a big wrench in your plans there.
It makes sense. Delmice is what's not really common. We're going for a Helping Hand here. I don't know if this is going to KO, but Sucker Punch might... Oh, that has higher priority. Oh, okay. Well, they're both +1 priority, but since we're in Trick Room... Yeah, that's actually really bad, so that's GG. Sucker Punch only works if your opponent hasn't attacked yet, but intends to attack, so... That thing's 4th move is Grassy Glide, which I mentioned is a possibility. That's unfortunate. There's, actually nothing we can do at this point. I'm curious to see how much damage this will do, if he lets me attack. This is a team that I'm really not that familiar with because I didn't build it, but I thought it would be cool to show it off because it's one of the most meta important teams, given that it did win the women's tournament. After this game, we'll switch to the team that I've been running. There's the full para. It's about 3 turns too late, and also the 1 turn I didn't want it because now,
it fails.
Now Sucker Punch fails. So excellent timing on the para hacks there. All right.
And now Trick Room is back up. And he can prevent Sucker Punch if he wants, just by using Grassy Glide again.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, yeah, I was expecting this team to go a little better. I actually played about 5 games with this team yesterday, and I did pretty well with it. I still don't... I was telling Richard a little bit before the show, I'm not really super familiar with this team, but I thought it would be fun to play. It's a pretty fun team. I highly recommend checking it out. The rental code is actually public, so if you guys are curious to try out this team, I'm actually going to show off the rental code real quick. Once again, credit for this team goes to Yoshi and Lugia, who most recently won the women's tournament with this team. This is the one. I figure I'll put that on screen real quick if you guys want to go try this out. We can also talk a little bit about some of the things that we didn't see.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so some of the cool aspects. We saw Freeze Dry come out of Lapras twice. Freeze Dry is a unique move because... Freeze Dry is an ice move that does super effective damage to water moves, or to water mons. So usually water resists ice. Freeze Dry basically treats water as a super effective target. So there's a lot of water plus flying plus ground plus dragon. There's a lot of Pokemon that get 4 times effectiveness by Freeze Dry that get hit very, very hard by it because they're doubly weak to it. Dracovish is one of those Pokemon. So if you're not familiar with Freeze Dry as a move, it might have looked really weird that KO'd Dracovish. That's because Dracovish is Water, which is specifically weak to Freeze Dry, and Dragon, which is weak to the Ice type. So it's ×4 effectiveness, so we're doing 4 times the damage that we normally would. Thunder on Lapras is there for the express purpose of preventing sleep. So we saw Grassy Terrain in the last game. That was what allowed Grassy Glide to have priority. That's not actually a priority move. It gains +1 priority on terrain, on Grassy Terrain specifically. So terrain works similarly to weather, where there are 4 different terrains. There's Electric Terrain, which is what Lapras' Thunder is there to set, which prevents Pokemon from being put to sleep, and it also boosts Electric-type moves by 1.3 times. There's Grassy Terrain, which heals Pokemon by 1/16 of their full maximum HP at the end of each turn, and increases the power of Grass-type moves. There is Psychic Terrain, which prevents priority moves from hitting... it prevents basically any mons from being hit by priority moves. and increases the power of psychic type moves. And then there is fairy, or not fairy, sorry, misty terrain, which is the fairy type's terrain, but it actually functions a little bit differently, where it prevents its ability, or its like sort of effect is that it prevents all status afflictions, but it doesn't raise fairy type damage. It's probably a balance thing. Instead, it lowers dragon type damage. So basically, we have a couple of very, very popular sleep bots in the meta. Amoongus comes to mind, which has a 100% accurate sleep move called Spore. Milotic is something that is here and there. It's not super duper common, but it's getting more common again with Series 6, which tends to run Hypnosis. Back in Series 5, we had things like Venusaur running Sleep Powder. So electric terrain is a very, very powerful ability to have. And it also just gets rid of whichever other terrain is there. So why does Talonflame have Heat Wave? Heat Wave is a decent spread move. It does some decent damage. And you want to have a Stab Fire move just to be able to put on a little bit of pressure, because there's a lot of Steel types in the meta. Now, this is not my team. I would not run Heat Wave in that slot. I would actually run Overheat, because I don't think Heat Wave is a very good move in this current meta. But most people tend to disagree, and most people tend to run Heat Wave.
I actually, I have a question about, maybe tournament teams versus ladder teams. You said this won the women's tournament. Mm-hmm. What kind of, and you've played it in a few tournaments, what is kind of like the mindset going into, crafting a team specifically for a tournament, maybe kind of like expecting things in the meta for that versus playing on ladder?
So it's not specifically a tournament thing. It's a best of one versus best of three thing. So there are best of one tournaments. The best of one tournaments generally have best of three in the playoffs, but there are tournaments that have best of one in the Swiss format, or in the Swiss, sort of the Swiss group stage section. And you bring very, very different teams to those kinds of tournaments. So this is a more solid best of three team, which it still works very well on ladder, but a lot of the time you'll get caught off guard by just one-hit wonder teams on ladder. I still bring the same teams that I would use in a best of three situation, because I'm just trying to practice with the teams and like get a feel for the calcs and all that jazz. But a lot of the time you'll run into some people who bring specific ladder teams, which is a different way to play. You just kind of a lot of the time those teams will just have individual weird things on them that are just meant to sort of catch the opponent off guard a little bit. Sometimes it can be something as small as like an item. So like I was running a best of one team yesterday in a for fun tournament where I had a Choice Specs Duraludon with Steel Beam, which is basically Steel Beam is a 140 base power special move that deals 50% of your damage and recoil, or of your HP and recoil. So you're basically going to lose Duraludon in 2 turns, but it's a nice meme because no one's going to expect it. So that's an example of like a best of one kind of thing. Whereas a team like this is more solid. All 3 of the teams that I'm going to be using today are more solid, sort of best of 3 teams that can work well in a best of 3.
Okay. Very cool.
I think you wanted to kick it to a short break.
Yep.
Before
So we're just gonna, we're gonna switch over the overlays a little bit. I just want to remind everyone that this is Game Masters, a show where we would like to show off that there are other things in gaming other than speedrunning. People put in a lot of time into doing different things, and we really want to showcase that off here on the Games Done Quick channel. And I just want to remind everyone also that you can check out all of the different Hotfix shows at gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. We're looking for a new show starting Wednesdays this November, so if anyone has any ideas, you can email hotfix@gamesdonequick.com with those ideas. And we're just going to have a quick break here. These breaks also help support these Hotfix shows. We're going to run some ads, and we'll be right back after this. And if anyone has a sub lying around, a Prime Gaming sub, or would like to subscribe to the channel, that also helps us out. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Game Masters, where we're showcasing off Pokemon VGC today, and I'm joined by Pengi, who is going to be showcasing off his own team here in the next few battles. Do you want to kind of go over what your team is, and maybe why you made the decisions that you did?
Yeah, I accidentally just queued for a game, and there's no way
That's
to
fine. You can see on the top left corner of the screen, Railcoon has provided images of the Pokemon for your viewing pleasure. So you can still at least explain the general
Yes.
things. We can go over the moves a bit later, but
We'll be seeing more Lapras, so that's fun. Lapras is a very prevalent Pokemon in Series 6. It's very prevalent in Series 5. It's just more prevalent in Series 6. And it is basically the only Pokemon that I intend to Dynamax on this team. We have another couple options that are there. This is what we would call a stall team. The name of it is Big Wheeze, so as you can imagine, Wheezing plays a pretty pivotal role, and the reason why is that Wheezing, as of Generation 8, has access to a brand new ability called Neutralizing Gas. And basically, it removes abilities. So it's an ability that removes abilities. So as long as Wheezing is on the field, other Pokemon's abilities will be ignored. My Pokemon, their Pokemon, all Pokemon. So that's so pivotal because a lot of Pokemon, it's very easy to think of abilities as just sort of a peripheral thing that's not a huge deal. But abilities are the reason why a lot of Pokemon in the meta function at all. So, for example, Colossal is a popular Pokemon because it has an ability called Steam Engine. So, we saw the weakness policy procced by the Dhelmise in the last turn, or in the last with the last team. Oh, perfect. We did not find an opponent right now, so I can actually look at the team. We'll go over it a little bit. So, so if you look at Wheezing, he has that neutralizing gas ability, and basically that prevents a lot of Pokemon that are very, very important in the meta from actually functioning the way they should. So Colossal has access to Steam Engine, and what that does is if it's hit by a water or a fire type move, it gets +6 speed, which effectively quadruples its speed, which, despite being a very slow Pokemon, makes it faster than literally anything else in the game, in the meta. So it also gets a weakness policy. So the way it's played is that it's played next to something that knows Surf or Aqua Jet, and that procs both the weakness policy and the Steam Engine. So it then gets +6 speed, as well as the doubling to its attack and special attack stat, the +2 on special attack and attack. So what Wheezing does in this example, it won't prevent the weakness policy from going off, because the Wheezing, because that's an item. But it'll make the Colossal not speed up. And Colossal is a naturally very slow Pokemon. So that will allow my Lapras to be faster and just destroy the Colossal before it does something. Another common one is that Justified is very, very important as an ability. It's used on Terrakion, Cobalion, and to some extent on Virizion. And essentially what that does, we talked about it a little bit about an hour ago, where if you use Beat Up on a Pokemon with the Justified, it will get +4 attack, basically making that'll triple its attack. It'll basically be able to just cleave through everything. So with Wheezing, you hit it with Beat Up and nothing happens, because that's an ability. With Sylveon, for example, Sylveon is a Fairy-type Pokemon whose ability is Pixelate. What that means is that Normal-type moves are turned into Fairy-type moves. So the way that it takes advantage of that is that it actually doesn't run Fairy-type moves. It usually just runs Normal-type moves. It runs Hyper Voice, it runs Hyper Beam maybe, sometimes Quick Attack. So with Wheezing, none of those are Fairy-type moves. They're all just Normal-type moves, and the Sylveon doesn't get the same type attack bonus. It's not a particularly strong type. Like, these are just a couple of examples. There's a ton of examples of things that Wheezing counters. So it is a pivotal part of this team. Lapras. Go.
A question about the rest of your team then. You say it eliminates all abilities. What about the other Pokemon on your team? Do they have maybe less impactful abilities, or what?
Yes. So my Pokemon have some important abilities. Wheezing only eliminates the abilities on the field, so that basically gives me control of whether or not I want abilities to be present or not. So the rest of my Pokemon, the abilities are not as important as they would be on other teams. So, for example, Umbreon is Inner Focus, which means that it can't be flinched, which is not that big a deal. It's nice turn 1, it prevents Fake Out from being a thing, but it's not as big a deal as, like, Justified, right? Or as, like, Pixelate. The only one that's, like, a little bit important is... so Arcanine has Intimidate, which lowers the attack of both opponents upon entering the field. But I can control whether I want Wheezing on the field, so that's fine. The only real annoying one is sometimes not having competitive on Milotic is a little bit annoying, but again, that's not a huge deal. So jumping into this first game, we see one very, very interesting situation already, which is the Politoed on our opponent's team. Politoed's ability is Drizzle, which causes it to rain. Mantine's ability is Swift Swim, which causes it to be twice as fast in the rain. So Weezing's already quite useful there. I could choose to open Weezing here. Do I want to do that, though? So Mantine has 70 base speed, so it will probably outspeed my Lapras even without rain. Something worth considering. So I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to open Lapras Milotic here. This kind of baits... Like, he's probably not going to open Arcanine, but if he does, Milotic's competitive will give it +2 special attack, which is a pretty big deal. We'll bring Weezing in the back. Do we need to bring Weezing in the back? I don't think we do actually need to bring Weezing this game. Despite being Big Weez, we're not actually going to bring Big Weez. It was all a lie, guys. It was all a lie.
What do you think the your opponent's going to be bringing here?
So I think the game plan, generally speaking, is that they want to be opening with Rain and then probably have Urshifu in the back, and then the rest basically depends on the opponent's team. They might not open Rain straight away because of the Weezing threat, but I think they probably still will. So that would be Politoed and Mantine. Okay, that's interesting. So opting instead for the Urshifu Ferrothorn lead. I don't mind this. So Lapras's ability is Shell Armor. That prevents it from taking critical hits, which means that the Urshifu's Wicked Blow will not critical hit us. The only thing it can do is close combat to do damage, which does not crit 100% of the time, so it doesn't ignore attack drops, which means that I can switch Arcanine in on the Milotic side, get an Intimidate off on the Urshifu, and maybe even Max Resonance the Urshifu. Nah, I think I kind of want to get rid of the Ferrothorn if I can. Yeah, let's do that.
So what are the big threats for this team? Like, you're talking about the things that it does well. Like, what are things you just don't like to see when you're running this team?
Specifically, the one really specific thing that this team does not do well against is Lilligant Torkoal as an opener. That's because Lilligant, I mean, that's really Series 5, though. Torkoal's not in Series 6, so I have two variations of this team. So, Series 6, Max Speed Amoonguss, I guess, to an extent, is a little bit of a meme. Generally, Sleep Spam is not a massive issue for me because this is a very slow team. I don't really mind if I'm taking out a commission 2 or 3 turns. Like, it's not the same as Hyper Offense, so that would be a death sentence. So, but Max Speed Amoonguss is something that's like a little bit niche. It's a little bit weird, but it is something that people are running now, and it does actually outspeed my Lapras, and it outspeeds a bunch of my Pokemon. So that's something that can be a little bit annoying. I did change my mind at the last second there and decided to go for the Urshifu, by the way. That doesn't kill. That's surprising to me.
With Series 6, having recently, come out, what kind of changes did you have to go through with, previous teams versus now? Did you kind of just, start over from scratch, or were there things that you had wanted to carry over?
Sorry, give me a sec. I just
go for it.
This is a weird one. I'm kind of in a 50-50 here. Flamethrower would take out Ferrothorn. The problem here is... you know what? I think we actually go into the Urshifu here with Lapras because we have Aurora Veil up, so I think we should be able to survive. Let's do this. Yeah, so really the biggest thing is that you don't need to build all of your teams around these specific threats anymore. You don't need every single team to have an answer to Cinderace, for example. You don't need every single team to have an answer for Crit Kiss. So it just kind of gives you a lot more freedom. Some people don't like it. I personally really, really like Series 6. I think it gives you a lot more freedom to just kind of experiment with things that you think are fun, as opposed to just, I don't know, I was able to come up with some fun ways to deal with things like Cinderace, but it feels very, very limiting to have to deal with things that are they're not broken, but they're so prevalent and so strong that every single team has to have an answer to them. So for example, one of the limiting factors was Rillaboom. Rillaboom has access to an ability that spawns grassy terrain. He has access to that grassy glide attack that gets priority in grassy terrain. He's a grass type, so he gets a multiplier on that. Grassy terrain also multiplies it, and Rillaboom's attack stat is 125. So you basically just can't run water-type Pokemon in Series 5. So it can be a little bit limiting in some of those ways, which is a little bit meh, but it's not the end of the world. Series 6 I just like a little bit more because you do have that additional freedom. This is one of those awkward situations where we kind of want Lapras to not be here anymore. Oh, I timed out, but I was going to use Snarl anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, so Lapras is running some interesting tech on this team that is not very common. I kind of expected this. I should use Fake Out, Protect. I knew that was going to happen, but I got freaked out by the timer. Yeah, so Lapras is running some interesting tech on this team. I talked about Thunder and how it works as an anti-sleep thing on the last team. However, what I didn't talk about is that I don't have Thunder on this one. I run Life Dew, which is a weird move for Lapras to run. It is not the most uncommon thing in the world. I think it's like 20% usage or something. But it heals both of my Pokemon by 25% of their max HP, which is actually not that much in the context of a healing move. Most of them are 50%. The fact that it heals both of them is kind of nice. It opens up some opportunities for some fun situations. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to double switch here because I want to bring Arcanine back in because both of these are physical Pokemon. So another Intimidate would be really good to make him a little bit less of a threat.
Back to Life Dew, is that something that, you know, opponents typically, you feel like, don't expect? Is that something that a general person that you're playing against wouldn't be, like, playing around?
Yeah, for sure. Life Dew is one of those moves that, whoa, okay, what? So Life Dew is one of those moves that, it's just not common enough that it really sees usage. This is weird. This is really weird. Togedemaru doesn't see play at all. But it's also just a weird choice as a Dynamax Pokemon. It is very, very strong physically. I mean, not very strong. It's like 98 attack. It does outspeed my Arcanine, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's physical, so getting an Intimidate drop on it's going to be pretty nice. And we also still have Aurora Veil up. Oh, this is actually quite good for us. That's Snarl. We get a +1. So we lose 1 special attack. Competitive, then procs, which is the ability of the Milotic. And whenever we lose a stat, we gain +2 special attack. So Snarl removes 1, but we get 2. So we're +1 now. I think we actually leave Milo on. This is a weird situation. I might even just recover the Milotic here, which would be a bit of a read. Yeah, I think especially with competitive going off, the Togedemaru is going to really want to take out the Milo. So I think we go for a recover and we switch in the Arcanine. So what we're doing here is we're reading the Togedemaru using Max Lightning on the Milotic. So we're going to try to offset the damage we're about to take preemptively, and that helps us stall the Dynamax turns. Let's see. Looks like we got the read. Do we live? We should. Yeah. Doesn't actually proc the berry, which is... Okay,
is that
this
unfortunate?
Oh, no, he's actually going to the arc slot. It's not, I don't think. I think it's fine. Because I don't think we're in... So that did 135-ish damage. Yeah, okay, no, that's fine. So we're just going to drop Recover again, I think. Togedemaru going after the Arcanine could be a little bit annoying. Maybe we Safeguard here. Because Togedemaru usually runs Nuzzle, which is a move I was using on Raichu with the last team. Nuzzle paralyzes 100% of the time. Safeguard protects me from status effects. Or I protect to just stall that last turn of Trick Room, or Trick Room of Dynamax. Yeah, I think I actually just protect here. he withdraws the Arcanine. That's interesting. That actually means that he's going to give me another +2 special attack when that Arcanine switches back in. So that's a ballsy move. He might be very confident that he can take out the Milo here. I don't think he can, though. And that will proc the berry, which, along with Recover, should give me full HP. So we're using what's called a Pinch Berry. Citrus Berry is one that procs at half HP, and it gives you 25%. A Pinch Berry is one that procs at below, I think it's 33 if you go below, no, it's 1/4. If you go below 1/4, then it heals for 33% instead of 25. So it's a little bit higher risk, higher reward. So Milo tends to run the Agua Berry, and now we're back at full HP. Obviously the berry's consumed, so we're not going to see it again. But I don't understand the Arcanine switch here, to be honest, because now this is a very awkward position for them. Again, both of these are physical. Every single Pokemon that they're using is physical. So I'm going to drop a Coil. Coil will boost my defense. Togedemaru tends to run Zing Zap, which is a move that has a 30% flinch chance as well. So ideally, we won't have to deal with that. Actually, maybe we just go... Now we'll just Flamethrower.
All right, and then while these moves play out here, I have a question in chat about what's the goal of this. And this show is Game Masters, a show about showcasing off things that aren't quite speedrunning, but still show off expertise in various games. I wanted to invite Pengy on here because Pengy actually speedruns a bunch of other games, but also is a very, accomplished person new to this Pokemon VGC scene. But you've gotten to the Master Ball League, and if you want to kind of explain, again, maybe for the people that are just joining in about your history with this.
Yeah, so I started just kind of getting into VGC around November when Sword Shield came out. And since then, I've been pretty active. I've just been working on, okay, this is, this is, I don't know why this person did this, but they just lost. So I went to my first couple tournaments in January. I've been to 2 regionals before coronavirus happened. I did pretty well in Collinsville. I went 6-3 in Swiss. I unfortunately had to play against the guy who won and also the guy who got top 4. So unfortunately, my Swiss rounds were a little bit cursed. But yeah, I think overall I'm doing pretty well. I'm not like the best player in the world, but I'm pretty comfortable with my level of play at this point in time. And obviously, with Players Cup 2 coming up, I'm gonna try to do well in that. So yeah. Do
you want to also maybe just talk about yourself, like with the other things that you speedrun, and
yeah, sure.
Kind of what you do outside of this?
Give me 1 sec. I'm just going to run. Pokemon's a lot of math in your brain. So I have +1 defense here, but by him switching the Togedemaru out, that allows him to reset the attack drops. So that is no longer -1 attack. I am +1 defense now, but we also no longer have our Aurora Veil. So it might be in my best interest to switch Arcanine out. It's definitely in my best interest to switch Arcanine out. Do I Muddy? I think I Muddy Water, actually. If I die, I die. Because if I'm +3 special attack, so like the Arcanine is gonna die for sure. The Togedemaru generally runs Sturdy, so I probably won't. So Sturdy is an ability that basically acts like Focus Sash. See what this does. Okay, that's fine. So my that's okay. This guy has tons of weird tech on his team. No, the flinch. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Hold on. This is no longer what I would call good. That flinch is really bad. I don't think I can survive another hit, even with a switch in on Arc. I think we just start cycling. I'll try to drop a life too. We'll see if they let me. So yeah, my main speed game these days is Skies of Arcadia Legends, which is originally a Dreamcast game, but it was remastered for GameCube, and that's the version that we speedrun because it's much more conducive to speedrunning with little quality of life improvements like not hitting random encounters every 3 steps. It's a JRPG, so if you're interested in that kind of stuff, that's Lapras lives. Oh, Lapras lives.
Nice.
Yeah, I do Skies of Arcadia. I'm trying to get back into Pokemon Let's Go. I don't have time right now because of all the Pokemon tournaments. But I'll be trying to get back into Let's Go a little bit. Let's Go is really fun. And I'm always just kind of looking for new games. I try out a lot of stuff, see if any of them stick. I was doing a little bit of a Star Wars Episode 1 Racer when that came out on the Switch. And yeah. Other than that, I enjoy Pokemon Sword as a speed game. I don't know if I enjoy it enough to play it a lot, though, if that makes sense.
That's fair.
So what we're going to do now is... we're going to try to... Do I want to switch the Arcanine out, actually? No, I don't think so. I think we want to go in here, and we're just going to try to drop a Protect. Try to bait the Zing Zap into the Lapras.
How important was the Lapras living there? What was going through your mind?
Pretty important. Snarl is a good coverage option there for the Arcanine, because both of my Pokemon are special here. The thing is that I'm pretty sure that the Togedemaru is sturdy anyway, so we're not able to one-shot it, so I really don't mind this too much. And the Lapras living is very, very nice because it just makes it easier for us to try to do what we did there. Where oh my god, I'm running out. I have like almost no your time left. This is a bit of a concern. We're gonna just like click buttons really fast now. Oh! I
was about to ask about what your plan was with your timer situation.
Yeah, that's very, very rare to actually lose your time. Like, losing out on actual timer, like going to timer is not super uncommon, especially with this team. But running out of your time is definitely a little bit uncommon. Do I get this? Oh, that's a range. That's a very nice range that we got there. So
nice.
But basically, Pokemon moves do not do a set amount of damage. There is a range of damage that they can do. That was what we would call a high roll. It's a pretty common gaming term, but that was a high roll there, so that's very, very nice. And I don't want to switch Pokemon out because I'm a little bit concerned about the effect that would have on my timer.
Do the animations actually take into account that time as well?
So the animations count towards the game time. They don't count towards the your time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, your time only counts down while you're selecting a move.
Yep. Yeah, so as Wartab is saying in the chat, I think I min-maxed that, which kind of refers to hitting a min roll in the first one and a max roll in the second turn. Also, since we're shouting out some community people, Wartab is not a VGC person, but he is a Pokemon person. He's one of the most skilled Pokemon speedrunners in the world. He's done a bunch of stuff here on GDQ, so folks who actually watch the main GDQ events, I'm sure may have seen Wartab, or people who watch ESA, but if you haven't heard of Wartab, fix it. Go to Wartab's stream. Give him a dank follow.
Twitch.tv/Wartab.
Yeah.
Also, Twitch.tv/Pengy.
Yes, with 2 Ys.
2 Ys.
Took the other one. But yeah, I'm going to be doing quite a lot of VGC if you guys are interested in a little bit more VGC stuff, because we have, basically, I have, tomorrow I have a tournament that's being run by the streamer Battle Room. The day after that, I will have the top cut of that tournament if I do well. And then after that, I have a day off from tournaments. And then we have the International Challenge, which is a 3-day thing, which is basically the first stage qualifier for the Players' Cup 2. So it's a lot of EDC for me in the next few days.
Can you maybe explain the formats of those tournaments? Are they both like Swiss into like a cut into like a final bracket or whatever?
It's a weird team. I gotta think about this.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Is this a Wheeze moment? I don't think this is a Wheeze moment. I think this is just a we go slow moment, TBH. Wheezing is very, very much my sort of counter to like all of the weird best of one teams. That's kind of Wheezing's role. We go Umbreon here. No. So, Umbreon is also very situational. He's my Amoonguss answer because he outspeeds Amoonguss and knows Taunt, so Amoonguss can't sleep stuff. What was the question? Tournaments, yeah.
Yeah.
So the standard format for tournaments is Swiss into a playoff. These tournaments are not that. The Battle Room tournament will be. The IC is basically a ladder tournament where you can play. It's a separate ladder from the main ladder. Obviously, it's just a tournament ladder. You all start with 1,500 ELO, and you can play up to 15 games a day for 3 days, and then the highest 256 for each region who are eligible to play in the Players' Cup will then qualify for the regional portion of the Players' Cup, which I believe is just a double elimination bracket, which then qualifies the top 4 of each region to the final bracket, which is a 16-person tournament, which is also double elimination. So that's more of a standardized esports format, but it's a bit less standard for the Pokemon's side of things. It's a little bit interesting.
That seems pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It also just shows off how many people are playing this because
I think there were 90,000 in the last IC.
Yeah, 90,000. Jeez.
So this is an interesting team. There's a bunch of stuff on this team that's not super common. The biggest one is the Noivern, which we see next to their Lapras. Noivern is probably going to be a Tailwind bot, which means that this is probably going to be a Life Orb Lapras, which is a bit more of an offensive, a little bit more of an offensive way to play. Noivern is going to be Focus Sash, but it should go down if I'm able to get both of my attacks off. I'm realizing now I'm not going to be able to get both of my attacks off. He's going to use Max Geyser on my Arcanine. I should have switched. It's hard to think everything through when you're streaming, but it makes for some good comeback memes, so let's make that happen. We're about to lose Arcanine for free.
Especially if we're distracting you by asking you questions.
No, it's fine.
We're just going to keep asking you questions. So
I care more about
more trouble.
We're on a stream. The Noivern is definitely running Focus Sash. So. Oh! We're so big brain that he thought we were going to switch out the Arcanine because that would be the correct play. We didn't get the Arcanine out, and now we're really far ahead as long as we don't get the 5% miss. I was right about the Lapras, by the way, so it's always a feels good man moment.
You're just playing to the next level.
Yeah, you're just 3 steps ahead.
Yeah. This is like 8-dimensional chess here.
Yeah, man. That's how it works. Bye-bye, Noivern.
On the stage, you call it a prediction.
Yeah, man. The Snarl there is really nice. Snarl, that crit does not matter. That's 4 times weak to ice. The Snarl there breaks the Focus Sash on the Noivern, but it also has the secondary effect of lowering the special attack on the Lapras, which is very, very nice. I believe that means that we will now survive a max Hydro Pump on Arcanine, because it's -1, and we have Aurora Veil up. So, that's always nice. Although, it's a little awkward for me to do the mental calculations with Lapras, with the Life Orb Lapras, because I don't run a Life Orb Lapras, so I'm just used to my Lapras's damage rolls. Serena is an interesting one to bring in here. Serena's a Grass type, very, very high attack, very, very dangerous hitting into my Lapras. However, if they double into the Lapras, I think they are actually. I think that's the plan. I think the plan is. I think the plan is to double the Lapras. They definitely don't double the Arcanine, right? Do I switch the Arcanine out and go for a? All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna switch in Ferrothorn because it'll resist anything they're gonna use on that slot. We're gonna max guard the Lapras. The only thing I care about with my Lapras is Aurora Veil with its Dynamax. Like, I don't care if I don't kill anything. I don't care if, like, all I care about is the Aurora Veil. And yeah, so the Resonance is a good. I mean, it might not have been a read, but it's a good play here. Ferrothorn eats a chunk, but that shows you the power of Aurora Veil and Snarl. That would have done about 55% otherwise, but instead it did almost nothing.
So how much is a play like the one you just did, just for scouting to like get a read on what they're running on the other side?
In a best of 3, that would be very, very common in game 1. In an actual best of 1 game, not very. It's not so much that. It's more just like Serena tends to run moves that are not... Like, Serena is not likely to attack into the Arcanine anyway. The Lapras is very likely to use a water move into the Arcanine, so Ferrothorn resists both of that. There's a chance that Serena uses high jump kick or like a fighting move into the Ferrothorn, but we would live that anyway, so It's just kind of a safe move. I kind of want to stall their Dynamax, even though that entails stalling mine as well. I don't really mind that too much. And really, this also just gives me a free switch back into the Arcanine, which will lower the attack on the Tsarina and allow my Lapras to survive our opponent doubling into it. It might have already survived that anyway, but we'll be super duper safe about that.
And that's just because your G-Max is more of a defensive and theirs is offensive, right? So like stalling up the G-Max is just like beneficial for you?
Yes, so they're... I don't want to say they're a hyper-offense team, because it's more of a mid-range team. It has a lot of the same sort of features as our team, right? It has the Tsarina, it has the G-Max Lapras, as the old team that I was using before. But stall teams tend to work pretty well against mid-range teams. Just, obviously, it's a little bit more deep than that, but on the surface, like, mid-rangey stuff is not amazing against stall stuff. But it's kind of like, mid-rangey stuff is super good in a hyper-offense meta, which is kind of where we are. Like, Series 6 is a lot less of that, but it is still a thing. Do we switch the Ferrothorn back in here? I think we actually protect the Lapras for one turn. This is kind of a safe play because Tsarina has a nice coverage option with High Jump Kick if it knows that, where our opponent knows that I have Ferrothorn in the back. High Jump Kick is both super effective against Lapras and also super effective against Ferrothorn, so that would have been a decent play. They instead opt to switch out to Sylveon, which is also interesting. I don't hate that for us, because I would be shocked if this Lapras can one-hit my Arcanine. I would be very shocked. Tailwind is also done now. Yeah, not even close. So we get the berry here, so we're going to live another Hydro Pump. Also, we're going to start Snarling, because that's the game plan. Snarl's entire purpose is to lower special attack against offensive threats that are specially focused. We're actually going to start Life Doing here. This is a little bit of a weird time to start doing this. Usually I want to reveal that with my Milotic or with one of my sort of lower, or one of my sort of staller mons, more stally ones, but I don't think after a Snarl... Oh, I was going to say after a Snarl, I don't think Sylveon can knock us out, but we got the 5% miss on the Sylveon, which is a little bit unfortunate, especially since we don't actually care about an attack. Oh wow, that's a that's a turn. Ay. Hurts my soul.
That's rather unfortunate.
So with that crit, you know, how's that affecting, you know, what you're doing next here?
I don't think it actually does too much. We just kind of have to keep doing the same thing we do. The problem is that Arcanine is not going to survive this turn, most likely. We're going to try to drop a Snarl. Our Milotic might outspeed the Tsarina. It's going to be close. We have higher base speed, but not that much speed investment when it comes to the EVs. So I'm hoping that we outspeed it so we can boost our defense before it inevitably hits us. Let's see. This is a bit of an unfortunate situation now. All right, so we outspeed the Tsarina, which is very, very nice. Coil boosts our defense, but the main thing that it does is it boosts our accuracy, which is very, very nice because we run Hypnosis, which is otherwise a 60% accurate move. In this situation, Razor Leaf. So that's weird. That's not what? I'm very confused. Is Razor Leaf physical?
Yes.
Razor Leaf is physical. That's not a move people use. It is a 55 power move. It did very little to Arcanine. So that kind of shows you why it's not used. We do know that Tsarina has Power Whip. It has revealed Power Whip, so I'm going to use... do I want to recover here? I think I actually go for the 80% Hypnosis on Tsarina.
Yeah, like the only thing I can think of why they'd be running it is just because the increased crit ratio, but it still just has a bad base power.
Yeah, it's definitely for the increased crit ratio. We're gonna try to sleep the Tsarina. My thought process here is that it has a 20% chance to miss, but if it does miss, we should live and proc our berry, and we should be okay. Okay, I was gonna say, if I get crit, miss a Snarl, and then also miss a Hypnosis, I'll be really sad. But we're good. Everything is fine. This also gives us an opportunity to sort of set up our Milotic a little bit better. And at this point, our opponent has very, very little that they can do against our stall option. We've got the stall duo of Milotic Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is about to be a really, really annoying thorn in their side with Leech Seed, which is just a great way to sort of keep it alive. We have leftovers on Ferrothorn as well, which is restoring HP every single turn. Basically, Ferrothorn is the worst. It's very annoying to play against a Ferrothorn.
Did you pun that on purpose, Penguin?
What?
You just
Thorn
said
in their side.
Ferrothorn was about to be a very annoying thorn in their side.
Oh my god. I didn't do that on...
Yes, you did. And it's fine. We accept those here.
I wish I had, Richard. Oh, okay. So, when you miss, there's a bit of lag. So after I miss a couple of attacks, I start getting, like, panicky and thinking that every attack is having that little bit of lag and missing. So for a second, I thought, because that's also 90%. I run a lot of 90 to 95% accurate moves on this team, which can lead to some very unfortunate games. Our Aurora Veil is now gone, which is something we have to consider. Ooh, would Body Press KO the Lapras here? I actually think it would. So Body Press is an interesting move. Body Press uses your defense instead of your attack to calculate the damage. I think with... Oh, okay, he's going to switch out. Alright, that's a good play, but... I don't really mind it too much. So Body Press is really, really nice on heavily defensive mons. You'll see it on... If you ever see a Steelix, which is very, very rare, you will always see Body Press on that thing because it has 200 base defense. Oh, that did a lot of damage. That did a lot of damage. That's way more than I expected. The nice thing, though, is that we got another coil off. You know what 2 coils means? It's quiz time. Can you guess what 2 coils means?
It's time to spam recover.
2 coils means that I have a 100% crit, a 100% accuracy rate on Hypnosis.
Oh, right, that.
Nice.
It is as bad as it sounds. Sylveon is gonna use. Sylveon's gonna use. Oh, this is awkward, man. Sylveon's gonna probably use Mystical Fire here, which will probably KO my Ferrothorn. There's a chance it doesn't, though, because I'm max special defense. We're gonna Power Whip it and see what happens. At the very least. Okay. That's fine. We're gonna sleep Lapras, which is fine.
Oh, darn, you're putting your opponent's Pokemon to sleep.
Yeah, this is where it gets very, very, very annoying to play against this kind of a team. I don't think this will kill. It kills, so, alright, that's unfortunate. However, you might think to yourself, Arcanine has 4 HP, it's not going to do anything. But that would be because you forgot that I have the ability to put these things to sleep, so Arcanine might actually get 2 or 3 turns out here. There is one potential problem that we might run into. There is a chance that Lapras is running Water Absorb as its ability. If it is, this game is going to the timer, and I apologize. Because my
What does that ability do?
Water Absorb, every time you get hit with a Water-type move, it heals you by, I believe, 1/6 of your maximum HP. And the only attacking move that Milotic knows is Muddy Water, which is a Water-type move. So, usually Lapras, especially with the Urshifus running around with their 100% crit chance, tends to be running Shell Armor, but there are a non-zero number of people who run the Water Absorb ability. We're gonna take this opportunity to just spam. Ooh, do we? No, we don't go for a switch. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna try to build up Milotic's defenses to the point where we can't really, where our opponent can't really do anything with that Serena. So that Serena's still doing sizable damage to us. but we can continue to raise our defense. So usually Milotic will not use more than 2 coils because the whole point of coil is the defense is nice, but it's mostly to be able to make Hypnosis 100% accurate. In this circumstance, oh, that's unfortunate. So that's all right. So I was not sure if that would actually kill because Mystical Fire is not a very strong move and we resist it, but unfortunate. We only got 2 snarls off. More than enough though. I think Lapras is quite low on HP, so we're just gonna coil on up because my main concern here is that Tsarina. We will have to, at some point, remove Sylveon and Tsarina from the equation because of the timer. This is where our opponent is likely to start stalling out as long as they can, but they're not doing that, which is very nice.
I was going to say, currently they're winning on HP, right?
Now, can you see your opponent's timer at all, or no?
Yeah, right? But that doesn't have anything to do with the game time. The game time is completely separate and counts all animations. So, the first tiebreaker is the number of Pokemon. So we need to make sure that we remove their Pokemon from the equation. Hitting the Tsarina is going to be a little annoying. Now, the nice thing about Muddy Water is that it has a 30% chance of lowering the opponent's accuracy by 1 stage, and Power Whip already only has an 85% hit chance. So we might be able to make that Tsarina very, very sad. But we are now getting to a point where we do need to start using some moves. I'm probably not going to sleep that Lapras again. We're going to worry more about the Muddy Water now. With the crit, with the damage Tsarina did, she just needs 1 crit. That is correct. However, a critical hit is a 1 in 24, and also Tsarina is spending most of its turns asleep, so it's very unlikely that, first of all, it has to hit, which is not a guarantee. Then it has to hit the 1 in 24, and also it needs to not be asleep. So Tsarina is very, very unlikely to hit a crit. It is a thing that can happen, but we are going to play as if it's not, because there's really nothing we can do about that.
That's just one of those situations where playing around it doesn't matter at this point, so
yeah,
there's no reason to even consider it.
Has now started timer stalling, and basically the way you optimally timer stall is you wait until you're running out of time to do your move, and then you do your move. You basically just try to kill as much of the game timer as possible. I don't really understand the switch into Sylveon here, to be honest. There is a very okay, this is actually a problem. I thought we had a little bit more time than this. We'll see if they let us actually use moves. We might actually be dead here, which would be unfortunate.
Is it possible they're switching just because it's a longer animation?
Are they just stalling enough such that, like, it takes up game time?
That might be it, but I also don't think that's the correct play, because they're opening themselves up to free damage on the Sylveon. The Sylveon's running Protect, so we'll use Protect here. The Lapras just used Protect, which makes me think that it's not Water Absorb. We should get at least 3 attacks in here. The Sylveon can Protect. Oh, the Sylveon is not protecting. Oh, it is Water Absorb. Okay, so that's probably us dead. That's so uncommon. Let me actually check how common that is. Because Pikalytics is a great website. Water Absorb it's about 20%.
Does that have information about, like, competitive, like, bring rates?
Yeah. So Pikalytics is really, really nice. Is a really, really nice website to have access to if you guys are interested in competitive VGC, team building, any of that. Pikalytics has all of the stats for not just VGC, but like the singles modes, like all of these. So, for example, if I go to the Lapras page, I can see that Lapras is used on 8.85% of the teams. This is updated once a month. So Lapras is used on 8.85% of the teams. It runs Hydro Pump 95.461% of the time. This was a very big misplay, by the way. I don't understand why they switched Lapras out. The only way they lose is if I can be full HP without them being full HP. And they're giving me an opportunity. They're not really letting me do this. I think I would need 2 crits on the Tsarina. Like, I don't think I can actually win this. But, like... But
it's a more than 0% chance.
Did you see
not anymore.
They could have...
Yeah, we don't have time. But, like, This was a very yikes. I don't really understand why they played the way they did here. But it works out. So.
Did you see the Sylveon when you were checking stats?
What really messed me up there was the Mystical Fire one-shotting the Ferrothorn. I didn't expect that to one-shot the Ferrothorn. I'm actually going to run a calc on that. So calcs refer to there are damage calculators that show you exactly what the damage would do in a certain situation. So I am curious. So I'm going to find out how much, what the range was on that. Oh, hits the power too. All right, let's see. Fire. For some reason, is not a move. Okay, so we'll do one more with this team. Oh wow, that's unfortunate. Apparently, if they have maximum special attack. Wait, what? Oh my god. So that was a 6.3% chance to one-hit KO.
Wow.
That was that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Oh well. It happens. Okay. So this is an interesting one that Weezing might see some play in. Diggersby's ability is Huge Power. And Huge Power, it doubles your attack stat. So it's used on... It makes some Pokemon that have pretty weak attack stats pretty scary. So a very notable one is Azumarill. Runs this ability, and it makes that 50 base attack actually quite scary. The same is true for Diggersby. So Weezing is a great way around that because it negates the ability, so we're just dealing with a Pokemon that has a very, very low base attack stat, which is nice. We're not going to open Weezing. I pretty much never open Weezing. I enjoy switching it in against Mons that it helps to do, that it helps against. Lapras is just a great overall opener. I think we're actually going to go Umbreon here. Because Primarina seems like an uncommon opener. Umbreon could be pretty good here. Milotic is pretty solid, as well as Ferrothorn. But we need Weezing, so we're going to go Ferrothorn here. Because we can set Rain to make the potential fire moves a little bit less of a big deal. Yeah. So, this is I hope I get to show off Big Wheeze. I would very much like Diggersby Talonflame as an opener. That would be nice. Okay, Talonflame Gengar is interesting. This gives them an option to Tailwind. How do I want to play this?
Very carefully.
Very carefully. Do I go after the Gengar? Could go after the Gengar. I think I actually kind of want to get rid of the Talonflame because of my Ferrothorn in the back. Gengar is also a special attacker, so Snarl is nice against Gengar. It lowers that special attack. Now, if I get rid of the Talonflame, that is probably not the only Fire-type coverage they have on the team. Hydreigon very well could be running a Flamethrower, but I also feel like Hydreigon is a rare Pokemon for them to bring. That seems like a situational one, because usually most Pokemon with a 4x weakness are a little bit more on the rare side. Like, you have a specific reason why you want to bring them in a certain situation, but not all the time. Because obviously, like, if your entire team is built around, like, an offensive Hydreigon, then, like, if you run into, like, any fairy-type attack, it's just gonna die immediately. That's unfortunate. That's the second time we've had that proc on this today, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I don't think it's a big deal. Is it a toxic Gengar? I see the Kappa there, but to actually answer that question, no. Toxic is not a move that's really used. Says the guy running Toxic on Weezing. But yeah, Toxic, a lot of Pokemon that could learn Toxic can no longer learn Toxic now, which is a little bit interesting. Diggersby coming in is kind of cool. We're gonna Resonance the Gengar here, because it's annoying that my Snarl is disabled. So I already kind of want to remove Umbreon from the field so I can reset that. And him bringing out Diggersby gives me the perfect opportunity to show off, ya boy, Big Wheeze.
Big Wheeze.
Big Wheeze. Now, the nice thing about Big Wheeze is that most people who run Wheeze have been running the Galarian Weezing, which is the new fairy type. It's fairy poison type. It gets access to Strange Steam, which is just a fairy type move that is it's nice coverage to be able to deal with the Dark Urshifu, which is very common and also 4 times weak to fairy. But I prefer the mono poison Weezing, the old school Weezing, because it has less weaknesses. It specifically does not have a weakness to Steel. And I also give it Air Balloon. Air Balloon is an item that makes it immune to ground-type moves, which is another weakness. Now, the Air Balloon breaks if it gets hit with an attack, but it makes it a nice little switch in here, especially against Diggersby. If you went for like a Max Quake into the Umbreon, it wouldn't have hit. So, always nice. Gengar does not have very good bulky stats, so down it goes.
Yeah, I was just oh-knowing, because right as you were talking about how Weezing is just going to nullify the Diggersby is right when he went for the Dynamax.
Yeah, so Diggersby, most huge power Pokemon are not very good outside of Dynamax. Like, they're great Dynamax targets. He actually brings the Hydreigon, which is a little interesting. Does he double into the Lapras here? So this is a bit of a mind-gamey situation where it's like the obvious play for him is to double into the Lapras. And because that's the obvious play for me is to max guard the Lapras. And because that's the obvious play, he might double into the Weezing. I think we actually go for it, because it's very, very common for me to max guard here. Like this. So we go for this, right? Either he targets the Weezing and Lapras takes out the Hydreigon, or he targets the Lapras and hopefully we get... Wow, that kills? Oh, of course. Oh, okay. Alright, that's unfortunate. Well, we're hopefully going to be able to burn the Diggersby, which will make it even less useful. He didn't read that I had an air balloon.
I was wondering if that was going to happen.
I find that terrible game design that you can't check your opponent's item after it's been revealed. Like, there's a menu where it would make perfect sense to be able to do that. I'll show you guys right now. The Y menu, where, or I guess the X menu? One of the two buttons. Yeah, the Y menu. It would make perfect sense if I could see... Look, I'll show off my Pokemon. It shows my item in the top right. If I've seen my opponent's item, I think it should show up there. It doesn't, though, because when Weezing comes in, there's a text prompt. It says, Weezing floats in the air with its air balloon. But if you don't see that very brief text box, there's no way to check it. So, I think what probably happened is he probably doubled into the Lapras, but maybe he didn't. That is a little bit of an unfortunate situation for him. And I think, honestly, we just Toxic the Hydreigon here because there's not really much else for me to do damage-wise. Alright, so he breaks the air balloon, now he goes for this, but you want to see something funny? That's what your huge power Diggersby does when it has no huge power and also is burned. So that Diggersby is doing a quarter of the damage that it should be doing.
I'm just dying because that laugh you gave was just so mocking.
Oh yeah, no, it's I don't know. I feel bad whenever somebody makes a mistake like the air balloon, but at that point, that's not a mistake. That's just Wheeze being Wheeze. Wheeze is big and strong.
So you're saying we need some more big Wheezes in chat?
Yeah, let's get some big wheezes in the chat. I actually didn't run Protect on this wheeze for a long time because I just use it as a physical wall and it doesn't need Protect, but I actually just threw Protect on it the other day. He's been doubling into the wheeze, so let's drop ourselves a Protect and see if he lets us snarl again. So now at this point, I don't even really care if that Hydreigon has Flamethrower because it's going to be -2 on special attack, so Ferrothorn should be able to clean this up pretty easily. Earthquake's an interesting move. That's not going to do too much to us. It's kind of a cool move because oh right, neutralizing gas eliminates the levitate on the Hydreigon, so Hydreigon can hit, even though it shouldn't. It's very easy to forget some of the things that neutralizing gas affects, just because like it's on the team to deal with specific threats. So sometimes I just kind of forget that it does other things as well.
Is that like when you were having fun playing with it, eliminating Regenerator on your stream the other day?
Oh yeah, so Regenerator, I actually learned that the other day. So Regenerator is an ability that when a Pokemon is switched out, it heals 1/3 of its HP. I wasn't sure if that ability procced on the field or if it procced in the party. It makes sense that it procs on the field, I just wasn't 100% sure. So it was nice to get confirmation on that the other day. Yeah, I mean, the Toxic is going to very quickly eliminate the HP on that Hydreigon. So apparently there's a sound. Wartab's saying there's a sound if you're not grounded. Can you turn off the music in ladder? I don't actually know if you can. Shoutouts to that 2 HP survival, by the way.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Well, the game is now over. GG. We got him. Alright, so that's basically how Big Wheeze functions. I'm a little bit sad that I didn't get to show off Big Wheeze against, like, Colossal, because a lot of people just forget how... So, like, what I like to do against these teams that open with, like, gimmicky, ability-based strategies is I don't open Big Wheeze. I switch him in on turn 1. So, like, they'll do their thing, and it just won't work, and then whichever mod they were trying to set up just dies. So, it's very fun.
That's pretty funny.
Alright, so I guess that kind of brings to a close team number 2.
Yeah, and there's going to be one team coming up.
Yeah, I'm actually going to set this up as a rental if you guys would like to try it out. That's the wrong one. Big Wheeze is already a rental, but I think this is the old variation of Big Wheeze. Let me check. These are the same.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. I mean, actually, I'll give you guys this one. This is the original one. The only change is that Weezing has Protect over Sludge Bomb now. I still don't know if I like that, so we'll just go with this one. If you guys would like to use this team, I clicked the wrong button, so wow. I don't rank out teams very often, as I'm sure you can tell.
Well, they're getting the Protect version now.
Yes, you're getting the Protect version now, and you're going to like it. But yeah, this is pretty fun. Umbreon is probably the mon that's the most situational here, but it almost won me a game against Sagen Park the other day, so Umbreon gets some love. Why do I keep clicking that button? Okay, here we go. There you go, guys. If you guys try the team out, if Richard, Railkin, if you have any questions about the team, I'm happy to answer while we're looking at it. But if not, we can also just head to a quick little break.
Yeah. So what were the? So I'm assuming you form this team with Weezing in mind. What were like the kind of options that you looked at for the other Pokemon in your team, and like what made you choose the other 5, and maybe what were some that might have been like runners up or things that you had tested out?
So this is before Series 6 went live. So in the couple days before Series 6 went live, I made about 4 teams. This was the one that I did not expect to be good. I made it kind of as a meme. The process of it was a little funny. One of my viewers asked if I could make Toxic Protect Stall viable, and I was like, yeah, I'll try. Weezing's great. It gets toxic, and Umbreon's been a staple of Toxic Protect Stall for ages. Then I realized, oh wait, yeah, Umbreon doesn't get toxic anymore. So then I just tried to make a team centered around Weezing and Umbreon. So I was like, alright, we can make something stally, right? So Lapras is a good Stallmon, Milo is a good Stallmon, Ferrothorn is a good Stallmon, and initially the Arcanine was something else. What was Arcanine in the first iteration? Droney is one of my mods. She's in chat. She might actually remember. Oh, Urshifu, right. Urshifu Dark was the original thing for Arcanine because I had a support Dark Urshifu with Snarl. It has almost the same speed tier as Arcanine, but I decided Urshifu was not really doing what I wanted it to, and Arcanine has that additional Intimidate and gives me Safeguard as an option against max speed Amoonguss very specifically. So that was kind of the last one, and I've since updated this for Series 5. I'm going to use a variation of this team. It uses a similar core. It does not use Arcanine, it does not use Umbreon, it does not use Ferrothorn, but it uses 3 Pokemon that essentially fill all of those roles. Not one-to-one, but each of them fills those roles to a point where it functions the same way, just with 3 different Pokemon, which are better suited to the Series 5 meta. So if you guys are interested in watching my IC run on the 21st to the 24th, I'll be using the Series 5 version of this team. With Big Wheeze, is, of course, still there. Big Wheeze is the king. But yeah, that's kind of the process that happened for this team. I mean, there's a lot of healing moves on it, which is kind of funny. Like, the Milo is very, very standard. The Ferrothorn is very, very standard. The Life Dew on the Lapras is kind of because there's a lot of situations where, like, Milo will be set up and it takes 50% from a lot of things. So it's stuck in sort of a recover loop where you can keep recovering to not die, but you're still taking as much damage as you're recovering. So Lapras's Life Dew kind of allows Milo to be healed while spamming Hypnosis, which is kind of gross. Wish on Umbreon is just kind of a nice thing in super, super stally games. Like, Umbreon is very capable of stalling out very specific Pokemon in the late game. So, Wish is a good way for it to stay alive. And also just, if Umbreon is in a position where I kind of don't want it to be on the field and it's at, like, half HP, I could drop a Wish, and then if Umbreon stays on the field, well, it's at full HP again, and it's decent. If they kill Umbreon, then something that was hurt earlier in the game comes in and drops a Protect and gets healed. Because the way Wish works is that it does 50% healing on that slot the next turn. So at the end of the next turn. So if Umbreon were to switch out, or if Umbreon were to then faint and another Mon were to come in, it would heal that Mon. So a lot of healing. I'm actually surprised this team doesn't go to timer more than it does, but it is very, very stally.
That's great.
All right. So if you guys would like to use this team, this is the rental code. I think we're going to be kicking it to a break now. So last chance to note down the rental code.
Yeah, so again, this is Game Masters, everyone. We want to showcase off that there are a lot of different things in gaming, not just speedrunning, but that also show expertise in games. So that's kind of what Game Masters is all about. We've showcased Tetris, we've showcased Mario Kart, we've showcased quite a few different things on this show. And just want to remind everyone that there's an online all-women speedrunning event, Frame Fatales, returning with another event on November 15th, Fleet Fatales. You can go to gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more info on that. And also, you can learn about all the different Hotfix shows that we have. We have content on all year round, outside of those main events of AGDQ and SGDQ. You can learn about all the Hotfix shows at gamesdonequick.com/hotfix. And if anyone is interested, we're looking for a showrunner on Wednesdays starting this November. So if you have any ideas for shows and want to be a showrunner, you can email hotfix@gamesdonequick.com with your ideas. And also, tomorrow, we're actually celebrating the 35th anniversary of Mario with Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario World, and Super Mario Galaxy. So that'll be tomorrow. But this is not the end of Pokemon today. We're going to be watching Pengi's third team right after this break. So Stay tuned, watch the ads, or if you are so inclined, feel free to subscribe to the channel as well. That directly benefits Hotfix content, and we'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Game Masters, where we're showcasing off competitive Pokemon here. I just want to remind everyone that if you've missed any Hotfix content or want to revisit VODs of any Hotfix shows or previous GDQ events, you can go subscribe to the GDQ YouTube channel at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. And you can also tweet at us on Twitter if there's anything that you're interested in or that you want to tell us about. You can tweet at GamesDoneQuick. But with that, we are going to be closing out the night here with one final team with Pengi. Do you want to describe what we're going to be seeing over this next hour?
Yeah, sure. I have this one's another rental. I will preface this by saying I know how this team is supposed to work, but I have never played a game with it. I just got it given to me about 15 minutes before the stream, but it's a pretty straightforward team. It's a hyper-offensive team with a Trick Room option, which is kind of nice. We're going to have a little bit of a look at it here. So, what we have is we have Dracovish, Mr. Fish himself, which is, it's Scarf since we're not running Tailwind. It's a Choice Scarf. It's the one that increases the speed by 1.5 times. We have Dracozolt, which is another one of the fossil mons. That has Hustle. Hustle increases the attack or the damage of all of your physical moves by 1.5 times. So it is a very, very strong mon as well. And it also has Bolt Beak, which functions the same way as Vicious Rend. So it does twice as much damage if it hits first. So these guys, pretty fast. I actually have the spreads for these Pokemon, which is something I didn't have for the other team, which is like, I know how many EVs are invested in which stats. And we have Riolu, which is Riolu has Prankster, which allows its status moves to have increased priority. So, essentially, even though it's slow, you might be thinking, oh, why are you running Riolu? Like, that, it evolves into Lucario. Like, why would you run Riolu and not Lucario? That doesn't make any sense. That's because Lucario, while a pretty decent mon, does not get Prankster. It gets Justified, which is another very, very good ability. Not very useful for us here, though. So, Riolu has priority coaching. Coaching is basically bulk up, but it works for your ally, so it increases your ally's attack and defense by 1 stage. And having priority is super nice for that purpose, but also because a fun little trick you can do with Trick Room, all status moves turn into Max Guard when you Dynamax. So it turns into the Dynamax version of Protect. So a fun little trick you can do is you can use Trick Room Max Guard with Hatterene, and then use Copycat with Riolu, so you have priority Trick Room, and it works, which is pretty wild.
Oh my goodness.
That is a very fun mode to play as well. Delmice, also a great backup option in Trick Room. It's pretty slow. We died to a Delmice earlier. Very scary Pokemon. Gigalith also. Choice Band Explosion. In theory, if I was building a team, I would not put a Choice Band Explosion on it, but because it's here, we'll try to use it at least once.
That's a pretty good meme.
Beautiful.
Wait, isn't priority Trick Room still -4 or something? No, because Copycat is the move being used. Copycat does not take into account the priority of the move that it is copying. So, Copycat will be +1 priority Trick Room. And if you think that sounds a little busted, it's not busted per se, because it does cost you 1 turn of Dynamax. Like, you have to Max Guard that turn. But it is kind of funny. I've never actually used it, but it was popular for a little while. Wolf Glick ran a similar concept with Liepard in the Collinsville Regionals. He got 2nd place at that event. So it is a tried and tested. It is a proof of concept proven team. This is not that team. That was a while ago, but it's the same general concept of the Copycat Trick Room. All right, we're playing against Big J. Don't know who that is, but
not as good as Big Wheeze.
Not as good as
we
Big
just
Wheeze.
Saw.
Yeah, Big Wheeze won us a game. Big J has never won me a game.
Yep.
So This is an interesting one. So, Goodra is annoying in Best of 1 because it can be played as physical or as special, and it Dynamaxes. And in Dynamaxing, you don't see the name of the base move, so you don't know if it's physical or special. It's either going to be Weakness Policy with the Comfy using Draining Kiss on it, or it's going to be Sap Sipper with the Comfy using Giga Drain. Sap Sipper increases the attack when hit by a Grass-type move and negates the Grass-type move. So this is an interesting one. I feel like this is a Hatterene Riolu kind of play. They don't have Fake Out on this team, so I think we're going to go for it. Let's see if it works. Oh, Sky makes a good point. Into the Sky is a good friend of mine as well. Hi, buddy. Don't copycat the Comfy heals. Copycat cannot be targeted. It targets the last move that was used. So that's actually a really good point. Copycat will not work against a Comfy opening. Because Comfy has... So Comfy's ability is Triage, which gives its healing moves +3 priority. Which is lower priority than Max Guard, but higher priority than Copycat. So if we used Copycat, it would copy the healing move. So we're just going to drop a Trick Room. This is a little awkward. I think we'll drop a Coaching on Hatterene. Just as a defensive sort of play. Maybe that allows it to live an attack from the Goodra. This is definitely a little bit of a concern. I picked the Mons before thinking about that. I hope that this actually works. Otherwise, we're going to be in a very, very large amount of trouble.
And just to reiterate, this is your first time playing this team, right?
Yes, but it's Sap Sipper and not Weakness Policy, which means the Goodra is only +1 and not +2. I think we should be okay. So we're also +1 defense. The Coaching that we use there boosts our defense. That's all we care about. We don't care about the attack because we're a special attacking Pokemon. We have Focus Sash, so that will keep us alive here. That's really, really nice that he targeted the Riolu because that allows me to Dynamax the Hatterene. So now we're going to activate our own Weakness Policy with another priority move called Bullet Punch. It is a very weak priority Steel move, which will hit the Goodra super effectively, or which will hit the Hatterene super effectively. Goodra has Goodra has incredibly high special defense. So maybe I don't actually go after the Goodra here. Maybe I go after, Oh, actually, hold on. I have to think about the potential for them targeting the Riolu with a priority move. We're actually going to use Max Mindstorm here on the Comfy, and we're going to protect the Riolu. The Riolu will die if the Goodra attacks it, but that's because Dynamax moves hit through Protect. I think they do either 1/8 or 1/4 of the damage that they would otherwise have done. So I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think there's a decent chance that our opponent targets the Riolu with Giga Drain or with Draining Kiss. But by using Max Mindstorm here, that's going to create the Psychic Terrain, which will make us immune from priority moves. However, you're still able... Oh, he's still going after the Goodra here. That's a little interesting. So you're still able to attack yourself with priority moves on the Psychic Terrain. You're just not able to attack your opponents, which is a little bit weird. Usually that's not how a lot of the mechanics in the game function, but for the purpose of Psychic Terrain, that's how it works, so... Okay, so the Max Quakes are making this Goodra very, very annoying. What we're going to do is we're going to Max Smite the Comfy to deal with that. Just make sure that we knock that out. The reason for this is that Goodra has 150 base special defense and also tends to run Assault Vest. So that thing is not going to die to special attacks. So what we're going to do is we're going to use G-Max Smite on the Comfy to take out the Comfy, which will also confuse the Goodra, which is nice to have. Confusion in Gen 8 only works. All right, so yeah, he tried to use a priority move on the Riolu, and the Psychic Terrain protected the Riolu, so it didn't work. We got our weakness policy up. Confusion only works 33% of the time, 1/3, but it gets rid of the Comfy and gives us a chance at not being hit by the Goodra, which is very, very nice. And if that thing hits itself, it's going to do a ton of damage because it's +2 attack, which does matter for Confusion damage.
Yeah, that's why moves like Swagger specifically give +2 attack, right?
Yep.
So that you'll hit yourself harder.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so Rotom comes out, Rotom Wash. That thing's probably going to protect. I just don't... We're not going to do very much to the Goodra. Actually, I mean, we're +2. It's +3 special defense, but we're +2. The Rotom should probably protect. I would be very weirded out if it didn't. My main concern is that we actually don't have a way to play out of Trick Room, and our Trick Room is in the process of running out. We'll go after the Goodra here. I guess we'll drop another Coaching just for defensive purposes. Oh, Ally Switch comes in. That's okay, so we're going to take out the Rotom. I'm very, very okay with that. Our opponent thought that we were going to target the Rotom, for sure. So down goes Rotom. With Coaching, we should live whatever this Goodra goes for here. Oh, wow. Minimum turns on Confusion is a little bit unfortunate. So we didn't get anything out of the Confusion there, which kind of sucks. We have one more turn of Dynamax, or of Trick Room, though. This gives us an opportunity to try to... Do we do it?
Yeah.
I think we do it. We have Protect on Hat. Oh, we don't have Protect on Hatterini, do we? Oh, we'll switch into the Delmice, which is a Ghost type. Big brain. Big brain. Oh, this is... Oh, that's really sad. Alright, so we're going to get intimidated by the Arcanine. That makes this probably not worth it. I mean... What else are we gonna do with this thing? I think we do it. Hold on. Let me I need to check the Gigalith speed tier. I think the Gigalith is fast. The Gigalith's base speed is fast. Is slower than Hatterini, but let's see how they're built. I don't have the actual stats in front of me. All right, 30, 27. Okay, so the Gigalith is gonna go first, which in this case is actually not great. But here's what we'll do. We'll switch in the Delmice. And I guess we'll do it. It's Choice Band. It'll do something.
I'm so happy you're doing it.
I don't know how much it's going to do after an Intimidate, but I did say we'd try to use the Choice Band Explosion.
You live and you learn.
No Protect out of our opponent. That's very good. This is such a good animation. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that did so much to the Goodra. I didn't expect it to do that much to the Goodra at all. Oh, we still might be dead, though. That Goodra's +3 attack is so scary. Oh, that's... We'll live that. Ooh. Oh, the sand! No! Oh, I think we lose, guys.
You know, I respect
it. If we had Protect, I could Protect till the so the Goodra would die to sand. But we don't have Protect. That's so unfortunate. It's okay, we got to see the Kaboom.
You did it for the fans, Penguin.
We did it for the fans. Maybe they miss a Rock Slide and somehow don't kill me. Rock Slide's only 90% accuracy. That's only 95. There was a world where they could go for the, what is that? 1 in 200? Miss a Rock Slide into missing a... missing a wild play rough. Doesn't matter, got to use Explosion.
Alright, so now that that first game is done, how does it feel being on the playing end of that team? I'm sure you've played against it before, or a similar variant,
yeah,
but what is it?
I'm not I think Trick Room Copycat is funny. I don't think it's that good. I think it's a little overrated. It's not that common, to be fair, so maybe overrated's the wrong word. It's definitely not bad. I'm never a fan of, like, wasting a Dynamax turn, though.
Yeah.
In that case, we didn't use it. We just did a normal Trick Room, so that, like, in that game we didn't have to, but... Alright, this looks like... I mean, this looks like another... This is such a heavy meta of just, like, so much speed-centric stuff, so, like, this honestly looks like another Trick Room kind of play. Now, an awkward thing is that Talonflame could have dual Wing Beat, which would kill the Riolu, because dual Wing Beat hits twice and is priority as long as it has, as long as the Talonflame has full HP. So having priority means it'll go before the Riolu because it's faster, and it hits twice. So since it's not a single hit, it would not take the Riolu from full HP down to 1 HP in one hit. It would be 2 separate hits, so the Focus Sash wouldn't actually proc. That being said, I think we just go Dracozolt here, and we just try to make that work. We'll still go Riolu, we'll go Dracovish, and I guess maybe Delmice. Big Delmice.
So this is the hyper-offensive side of the team?
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if we bring Gigalith in the back for the memes. I actually think we do. I don't see... No, nah, that Primarina is an issue. Porygon Z is very, very good in Series 6. Its speed tier is only 90 base speed, so it's not great with, like, everything being in the meta, but since a lot of the fast Pokemon like Cinderace are banned in Series 6, Porygon Z has a little bit more of an opportunity to shine. Taking advantage of its 135, I believe, base special attack, and also the fact that its ability is adaptability, which means that its normal type moves don't get the 1.5 modifier from being same type attack bonus. They get a double times 2 modifier, which is kind of sick. Now, I could go for a switch into the Delmice on the Dracozolt. All right, we're going to try to be really big brain here. It might not work, and I'll probably look like an idiot, but we're going to go for the big brain play. We're going to switch in Delmice and expect a max strike from the Porygon. That's what we're expecting here. We're going to coaching that slot as well. Just so, if I get everything off perfectly, I'm probably going to Dynamax the anchor, the Delmice. Yeah, here comes the Dynamax. A lot of playing against Porygon Z is just trying to stall out the Dynamax turns. So if we... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh. Yeah, so I actually kind of just had a question about the ladder. Is there just one ladder where, like, everyone plays on? Or is there,
yeah.
like, split? Okay.
Just one. Do it! Alright, no, coaching comes first. Let's see. Come on for it. Come on, Porygon. Come on. Come on, do it, buddy. Make me look smart. Make Daddy look smart. Oh! He went into the wrong Pokemon! I mean, that's not bad. I actually don't think that's bad for us. Because, like, we have the Focus Sash. Riolu doesn't die. Like, the biggest thing about this entire thing is that we just need the Porygon... Like, we need to stall its Dynamax turns. That's all we need to do. So, like, I don't hate that. We're not going to Dynamax the Delmice here, actually. Ooh, we have Ally Switch. Oh, that's kind of memes. Do I drop Ally Switch here? Yes. This will probably kill... maybe we don't actually do that. Maybe I just Anchor Shot into the Clefairy. Am I Life Orb? I think I'm Life Orb. Alright,
Yeah, you're life orbed.
No, we're gonna Ally Switch. For the memes. Yeah, okay, that was the right play. He's gonna kill the Riolu here, but this is the idea. I thought he's probably gonna max Darkness into the Delmice because Porygon Z usually runs Dark Pulse. So we're gonna keep the Delmice alive. We'll drop a coaching. Get that +2. And in comes Max Darkness. Boom. Now, the concern about Dynamaxing my Delmice is that we're now -1 special defense. Each max move has a secondary effect that affects either weather, terrain, or a stat of your side or the opponent. So Max Darkness lowers the opponent's special defense. Not great. I think we Drake his ult here, actually, and we just Dynamax the Drake his ult, to be honest.
You're also minus speed, aren't you?
Yes, we did take 1 - speed on the Delmice, but the Delmice underspeeds everything on their team anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
So the nice thing about showing Ally Switch early game is that it just puts you in a position where the opponent has to assume that, like, every single turn from now on until the Delmice is down, they have to wonder if I'm going to Ally Switch. Which is great, because the best thing that the Porygon Z can do is Max Strike the Draca's ult, but if they call the Ally Switch wrong, it does nothing, because it doesn't affect the Delmice. So, we're just gonna drop a Max Lightning on the Clefairy. I want to get the Clefairy out of the way because of Follow Me being a possibility, and we're gonna Ally Switch again. Let's just do it. Nobody Ally Switches twice in a row. He's never gonna expect it, especially because Delmice is my best way to take out the Clefairy. This puts the game into a very, very dumb situation. It's not the funnest to play against, but it's also not a comfortable thing to play, right? Because it's like, he has to guess whether or not I'm going to Ally Switch, but I also have to guess whether or not they're going to guess that I Ally Switch. So it's very dumb, but it's very entertaining.
So you're basically just turning this into a game of rock, paper, scissors in terms of targeting.
Okay, all right. They did not call the Ally Switch, but they also didn't Max Strike. All right, checking some calcs. That did about half, not bad. Okay, so, with that done, now we're going to play the mind game of this guy Ally Switch twice in a row, so clearly he's just going to spam click the Ally Switch button, right? Right? So now we're going to not Ally Switch.
Games. We'll I don't know, 2 in a row, like, right. Wouldn't you expect the stopping on the third?
I mean, everyone has a different way of dealing with this, if we're being totally honest. The way I deal with it is I don't play their game. Most of the time, I just click the mon I want to hit. Because, there is no great way to do this, though. I don't think Airstream is actually going to take out the Clefairy, so I'm just going to Max Lightning again. I would prefer to get a speed boost here, but... Okay, Protect comes in. That's a good read by them. I should have definitely... Okay, that's very, very good read by them. However... Hyper Beam has the recharge turn, so we have a free turn to do with as we please here. And I believe... Actually, no, I think we get the Porygon with this. Okay, yeah, so the Porygon goes down. That crit did not matter, I don't think. Porygon is not very defensive, and Delmice is +2 attack. Keep that in mind from the coachings earlier. So, Delmice should actually, like, one-shot kind of everything. It's a 2v3, but we have 2 very scary Pokemon. Now, the thing about Delmice is that it's very, very, very slow. That is very bad against both of our Pokemon. I'm not really sure why they're using Primarina here. Is Vicious Run the way to go? Yes. Yes. Okay. So, Primarina is definitely going to die if we hit it with a Power Whip. It might know Perish Song, actually. So that might be the play here. Perish Song causes all Pokemon that... Oh my god, really? Wow. We don't actually take down the Clefairy. That's game, actually. Yeah, Moonblast is going to take us out next turn. That's really unfortunate. I think we would have lost anyway. I forgot about the Spadef drop on Delmice. Unfortunate. I think probably the best way to run this team is with like... Oh, I think that crit mattered, guys. I think the best way to run this team might just be with like... Especially, I like, it depends on what you're playing against, obviously, but I think there's a decent chance that like the optimal way to run this in most situations is with like a Trick Room opener with just like Dracovish in the back for when Trick Room runs out. I'm really not a Trick Room connoisseur. I wanted to show off different types of teams, but I'm not somebody who runs Trick Room a lot, so this is very much out of my wheelhouse.
But it's a learning experience for you.
Yeah, it's also just nice to show that it's not just like that competitive VGC is not just like butting heads with the other person with whatever mons until someone wins, right? All right, let's, what do we got here? Zard. Now, no Sun and Charizard is a little weird, because Charizard's power comes mostly from its Solar Power hidden ability, which, basically increases its special attack by 1.5 times in Sun. Like, it doesn't actually affect the special attack, it's just like, I don't remember exactly what the phrasing is on it. Oh yeah, it just raises the special attack by 50% in Sun, but it causes it to lose HP. So usually Charizard is run in a Sun team. There is nothing here that knows Sunny Day. I think I don't think Weezing gets Sunny Day. This looks to me
Would you like me to
like
tell
we might
you
be able
if
to get
it
the copycat
gets-
off. Sorry?
Would you like me to tell you if it gets Sunny Day, or
Oh yeah, sure.
it does?
It does. Okay, that's weird, but all right. We're gonna try to get a copycat Trick Room off, maybe. Grimmsnarl gets Fake Out, but it doesn't always run it. It's a little bit awkward. Throw Delmice on it. We'll go Dracovish in the back. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna open Dracovish Hatterini. We're gonna go Trick Room, but they're gonna have to respect the Choice Scarf. Charizard does not make Sunny Day with its Gigantamax move. Its Gigantamax move overwrites Max Flare. Max Flare is the base Fire Dynamax move. G-Max Wildfire causes chip damage.
Isn't it like the Fire Vortex thing?
Sorry?
Isn't it like the Fire Vortex thing, or am I thinking of something else?
Yes, exactly. So, we have to respect the possibility here for Fake Out. I think... Alright, we're going to play hyper offensive, I think. And, like, really hyper offensive. And, we're not going to pitch this round. We're going to Rock Slide. The Grimmsnarl can one-shot the Dracovish. But I don't actually care if it does, because that guarantees that we get a Trick Room off. And also, if he attacks... so Prankster only affects status moves. So Prankster is another... Like, Grimmsnarl is another ability... another mon that gets Prankster as an ability, but that doesn't affect its actual attacking moves. Alright, so he goes for the Fake Out. Onto the Trick Room user. Okay. That's super effective against the Ninetales. Ninetales might be able to... Okay, he uses Blizzard. That's interesting. Okay. Do I Trick Room again? I think so. Wildfire is definitely not worse than Flare. Wildfire is one of the best Gigantamax moves in the game. So, we should get a guaranteed kill on the Ninetales if we hit here. We have a 10% miss chance. But, this is interesting. This Alola and Ninetales is not the most common mon. It's nice because it sets Hail specifically because you can use that Hail for Aurora Veil, which is the same ability or the same side effect from a Lapras' Gigantamax move that I was talking about earlier, where it basically just prevents you from taking damage. That's interesting. Scary Face slows down my Dracovish, so he's going to outspeed. Moonblast comes in, which means that Ooh. Oh, we live! So we not only get the Rock Slide, we also get the Trick Room. Oh, that's unfortunate for our opponent.
And he just dropped your speed before the Trick Room.
And he just dropped our speed.
Oh, no.
Oh no! Now we can't switch to Vicious Rend because we're Choice Scarf. This is weird. I don't actually know what my speed... Okay, so... Scary Face puts us at -2, which halves our speed. Then we have a 1.5 times multiplier from Silk Scarf, so that puts us at about 75% of our normal speed. I believe the speed tier of Dracovish is like 75? Oh, dude, that's... What? That's 4 times weak to Rock Slide. Why are you bringing out Charizard? That is... So Hatterini is going to go down here. It has Life Orb. It goes down to the Hail anyway, so... Just going to drop a Dazzling Gleam here. It's super effective on the Grimmsnarl. We're definitely slower than the Charizard at -2. Definitely. Does he Dynamax the Charizard? Like, Charizard won't die to Rock Slide, but it'll take, like, if it Dynamaxes, it won't die. But it'll take, like, 75-80% or something, because Charizard is double weak to Rock. I thought that was Charizard. Really? You're going to leave Charizard on the field? Rotom is in the back. Okay, so he goes Protect. That's fine. Yeah, we have Delmice in the back, don't we? So I think we bring out Delmice here. I think we brought Delmice. Oh, no, we brought Gigalith.
Oh, did you?
I mean, Gigalith is also Rock type. Oh, man. I think, actually, maybe what we do is... I think we brought Delmice Gigalith, didn't we? So, I think what we do is we switch Dracovish out, maybe, and bring it back in when Trick Room is over? Because I think even if he Dynamaxes, I think Charizard dies to Rock Slide from Gigalith. Like, I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure that Rotom does, too. Like, Gigalith with Choice Band and Stab Rock Slide is a scary prospect to go up against. So I think what we're going to do here, we're going to drop a Rock Slide, switch out Dracovish, Delmice will come in. I'm also not a huge fan of having Dracovish forced into Rock Slide when we're also using Gigalith. So switching out Dracovish resets the choice part of the Choice Scarf. God. Explosion, please. Unfortunately, I will not be allowed to use Explosion this turn because we're choicing ourselves into the Choice Band, into Rock Slide. But, yeah, our opponent is taking a long time to think because this is a very, very difficult situation for them. We're in Trick Room. I don't know what they do. Do they, like, Ally Switch and hope that I'm not using a spread move? Okay, so switches out the Zard. I think Grimmsnarl goes down. Oh, it does. It goes down to the sand. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right, you know what, guys? It's 3v1 now. I'm going to switch out the Gigalith. Yeah. Try to switch it back in and use Explosion. Just for you. Just for you guys.
The true hero.
If he doesn't forfeit.
There is one... Actually, no, there's a problem. I don't think I can do that, guys. Because it won't KO the Charizard and Dynamax. Rock Slide will. So we're going to play it safe since I haven't actually won a game with this team. We'll drop an Ally Switch just to, flex a little bit. Please let me do it. Oh, I was really hoping they would Dynamax.
Yeah, I think
they had a win con there.
Yeah.
Rock Slide is not a guaranteed hit. They did not have a win con because I still had my Dynamax and I could have Dynamaxed.
Yeah.
I should have Dynamaxed there, but it's fine. Win's a win. Excellent. The nice thing about Hyper Offense is we get more games with the team because the games go faster.
Ace.
I just want to say big thanks to Pengi for sacrificing his rank, playing teams he's not familiar with, just for the sake of the showcase.
You've just started playing.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, rank doesn't matter. Tournament results matter.
Yeah. And you want to remind people what the upcoming tournaments are that you're going to be
Let me do my what is... Okay, what?
Okay, I think Pengi needs to focus on what to pick here.
All right.
I don't think I have ever played against a Skuntank. And I've played against Kanto Marowak maybe twice. This is weird.
And even Drone is confused in
They're
chat.
also running Trick Room probably on their Gourgeist. This is so weird. I think I just go Dracozolt Riolu, right? Like, there's no Intimidate. Oh, there could be Intimidate on the Luxray. The Luxray is either Guts or Intimidate, and they both play very differently. Oh, this is... I mean, I have Riolu, so I don't really care about the Intimidate, dude. I think Riolu Dracozolt just kind of bops this, if I'm being honest. Sure, we'll go Gigalith in the back. Why not? Yeah, Marowak's pretty good in Trick Room. The weird thing is that Marowak is a very good Pokemon, but not this Marowak. Marowak Alola from Gen 7 is a Ghost Fire-type Pokemon that is a very, very good Pokemon. But its counterpart, it's like this version, isn't great. Like, it's generally not considered to be great. Alright, it is Intimidate, so we know we don't have to worry about Guts. That being said, I guess it's a pretty solid answer to Dracozolt. But I have Wormwind, so like I think I just do this. Like I feel like this is pretty good. So Marowak is a physical attacker, so we're gonna be able to boost our own defense, which is gonna help. And we're also going to use Max Wormwind, which is a Dragon type max move, which lowers the opponent's attack. So he'll be -1, we'll be +1 defense. Even with Thick Club, which is the item that Marowak carries that doubles its attack, we should be okay. This is one of those weird moments where, like, I don't have mental calcs for this. I don't know how this is going to go. Like, we're just going to do what looks like the best option and see if it works. He's not using Trick Room. He's just relying on the Marowak, which is... Sure. So weird. This is so weird. So coaching helps us to not only boost our defense, but to offset that Intimidate. Volt Switch comes in. Oh! What? Okay, that's a misplay for sure. There's no way that's a special Marowak. Like, Marowak has atrocious special defense. I think our opponent just forgot that they're not able to hit us with Volt Switch, because Lightning Rod, the ability of Marowak, sucks in all lightning attacks, all electric attacks, including allied ones. Nah, there's no way. So here's the thing, right? Marowak's attack is almost twice as much as its special attack, and its held item is the Thick Club, which doubles it again. So even if you're using Lightning Rod to boost its attack, it's still not going to be very good.
So you think he just accidentally tried to use you with a lightning attack, and then
yeah,
with
I
a
think
lightning
Volt
attack?
Switch switches the Luxray out. So I think the idea was he wanted to just switch the Luxray out and do some damage. We're gonna try to Bullet Punch the Luxray. I don't think it'll kill.
I
mean, it's so low it might. All right, it just switches the Luxray manually, so that was definitely a mistake. The other thing is that I have Assault Vest on my Dracozolt, so if it was special, it would do almost no damage. This person is definitely still anti-meta, but we're gonna be okay with this. Max Quake comes in. We live this pretty handily. The Riolu is not running Helping Hand, which is a little bit unfortunate. I would like for it to be running Helping Hand here, but it's not. Yeah, going for another coaching would probably have been the better play, but we have the opportunity to do that now. Gourgeist could go for a Protect, but Wormwind with coaching is not going to kill the Marowak, so yeah. If it goes for a Protect, I live and I get another attack off, so I think that's fine.
And the reason you're not even considering Airstream is because you're assuming Trick Room on this Gourgeist, right?
There's that, and then there's also the fact that even if it's not Trick Room, Dracozolt outspeeds most of the team anyway. Oh, that's unfortunate. Because their team is predominantly slower mons because of that Trick Room option. That's Rock Slide, so he's not using Trick Room. Do I live this? With the Rock Slide damage, this might be a slightly more favorable range for them, but I think I still live this. Yeah, not even that close. Okay, so we will switch to Aerial Ace now, mainly because Hustle, our ability, boosts our physical attack by 1.5 times. However, it gives us a 20% chance to, or an increased 20% chance to miss. The reason that doesn't affect Dynamax is because the Dynamax moves bypass the accuracy check. They always hit. So we're going to switch to Aerial Ace because that should take this out for sure. And we just leave Riolo out here, I think. What do we even do here? We just... Hold on. What was the last move used? Let's find out. Let's use Copycat. No, because that could be Earthquake, which would be very, very bad. I'll just use Bullet Punch into this thing, just a tiny bit of chip damage. The reason I'm keeping Riolo out here is, that's fine. Oh, that's actually really good. The reason I'm keeping Riolo out here is, I actually should have used Coaching in case of that. I just didn't expect him to do that. The reason I'm keeping Riolo out here is because when I bring in my next mon, I want him to be able to just continue using Coaching. Yeah, we're in a pretty good spot here. Hold on. Luxray is a surprisingly slow Pokemon. It looks like it should be really fast. It is base 70 speed. We're base 75 speed, but I also think that we're adamant and not plus speed nature, so if that's max speed, it will outspeed us, or we are adamant. Are we at least max speed EVs? Yes. Okay, so we're gonna assume that we're faster than the Luxray. We're not gonna go into the Luxray, actually. We're gonna go, Dragon Claw, maybe? Oof. Nah, we'll go into the Luxray for the guaranteed hit. Nope, we're not gonna go into the Luxray because I clicked wrong and I don't have time to fix it. That's really weird. Not sure why they did that. Skuntank into that. I don't know what this thing does. Like, I've never seen a Skuntank actually used before. Alright, so that does outspeed me, so the missed target doesn't actually matter. So that's maximum speed. Good to know. It's time for Dracovish. Dracovish will one-shot literally everything on this team. That's the main issue. Skuntank might actually have Will-O-Wisp, maybe? Does it get Will-O-Wisp?
If it did have that, what does that do?
It burns my my Pokemon. It does not get Will-O-Wisp. I don't know what this thing is for. This is
It would
so
reduce
weird.
his attack by 50%?
Yeah,
is
it would,
the more
it
relevant
would make
part of
my
that?
physical. Yeah, it would make my physical attacks substantially less effective. Do I go for Coaching here, or do I just like try to take out? I think I actually just go for the Luxray here. I don't need Coaching to be able to take out the Skuntank. Skuntank has very bad friends. Wow. All right. So Sucker Punch comes in. We actually might. Wait. It's Choice Scarf. Okay. Wow. That's Choice Scarf max speed. And I forgot about Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch, of course, has priority. So.
So you didn't get the bonus damage because it went first, right?
Yeah, this is weird. All right, Choice Scarf, Luxray. What on earth? All right, here's the play. We're gonna switch into Gigalith here because they're both physical. Sucker Punch will fail because of the switch-in. Coaching will allow us to take any hit from the Luxray pretty well. One Rock Slide will take both of these out. Also, I think Luxray dies to the sand, now that I think about it. copycats use Vicious Rend. That's kind of funny. The main reason why Vicious Rend is so good is because of all of the multipliers that Dracovish gets, including Stab and the ability Strong Jaw. So it wouldn't really do very much on Riolu.
Especially since
And
the
also, you
Riolu isn't
can't-
really an attacker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it has 70 base attack, actually. Riolu doesn't have terrible attack.
I assume you don't have any like stats invested into attack though, right?
I'm not 100% sure. Let me check the paste. Sometimes you do, but since we're running the weakness policy on Hatterini and hitting ourselves for that, probably not. All right. I think coaching again here. Oh, hold on. This is unironically the play. We're at. Oh, what if they protect?
Is
oh,
it
no.
actually the
They're
play?
not protecting. It's fine. It's fine. I got blinded by the potential for the big boom. We have +2. Choice Bandit Explosion. There's no universe where these survive. There's no... Oh, please don't kill us. All right, no crit, no crit, no crit. It only hits twice. There's no universe where they live this. There's absolutely no universe. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Just look at that animation.
Just nuke the entire field.
I think the stadium got taken out.
Oh god, that was good. That made me happy. So this did not matter this game because we had Dracovic in the back, but some people might be wondering what happens if it's 2v2 and I use Explosion and everything dies. I win. It technically takes out the opposing Pokemon before it does the damage to me, so I win. Basically, any situation where you use an attack that takes out the opponent and then kills you, you win. All right, I think we have time for one more, probably, maybe two.
Yep.
I'm getting the hang of this team now. It's fun.
You're now improving with this team.
Yeah. It's not the hardest team to get the hang of, to be honest. But I am very, very new to the whole copycat trick room thing as a person using it.
It's definitely just different to think about, right? Because, you know, with your other teams that you use, there's just different things that you think about. So
Yeah, it's just not my playstyle either.
yeah.
Okay, so now we have a proper Sun Charizard team. This is, like, normal Ninetales is a lot more common because Sun is just generally better than Hail. Hail's not bad. It's not great. It's not good enough to be used regularly, let's put it that way. Sableye gets Fake Out. I have to consider that on the Riolu. I think we actually go, like, Dracovish Riolu and switch in Gigalith to get rid of Sun. And, like, maybe Rock Slide to hit the Zard. It won't kill with Dracovish. Actually, Vicious Rend would be better. I think Vicious Rend does more. The Rock Slide is quadruple effective, but Vicious Rend is just so much stronger. We're going to bring the same team. Well, Gigalith has to be in this team for sure. Like one of the main benefits of running Sand is just getting rid of Sun. Sun is by far the strongest weather type. Rain is okay in Series 6 because Torkoal is the best Sunsetter, and it's gone, and Venusaur is a big part of Sun teams because of its ability Chlorophyll, and it's also gone. Those are both on the banned list. So, generally, like, Sun is a little weaker now, but it's still the best. Discard says he'd go for Dracovish Gigalith as a lead. So the reason why I don't want to do that is that it's possible that our opponent goes for a Sylvia for a Charizard Sableye lead in case I go Riolu, right? So Charizard Sableye makes a lot of sense as a lead because the Sableye can prevent me from using Copycat Trick Room. And if I don't lead that, he could switch the Sableye into the Ninetales. Like that was the main reason why I didn't want to play that way. fake out pressure onto the Dracovish is a very real possibility here. And the Sylveon would one-hit KO us. So we're just going to go for a switch here, I think. Maybe just go into the Gigalith. It's not great. This is probably the worst possible lead for me. But,
So if you both decide to switch Pokemon, how does it decide who switches first? In the case of
it's based on the speed of the Pokemon that's currently on the field that's being switched out. That's one of the and the abilities also activate in the order of speed, which is one of the reasons why I mentioned that Torkoal is a better Sunsetter. If you lead Torkoal, you'll pretty much guarantee to have Sun Up on turn 1. Whereas if you lead Ninetales, Ninetales is a very, very fast Pokemon. So something like Politoed is slower than it, so there will be rain. If there's a Politoed and a Ninetales lead, it'll be rainy, not sunny.
Yep.
All right, this is not a great position to be in. I'm not a fan of this. Oh my god, do I just... No. Oh my god, this is like weird, right? I don't know how much Sylveon weighs. I don't play with like weight-based moves. Right, 23 kilograms. Gigalith weighs 260 kilograms. Okay, so I think we actually Rock Slide though, just in case of a switch. We'll just drop a Coaching here. We're just gonna use Gigalith until it goes down, I think. With Coaching and Choice Band, I think this probably OHKOs the Sylveon. OHKO being a one-hit KO.
Yeah, not
Trick.
referring
All right,
to the
so he's
banned
going for
magic
Trick
card.
Eject button here. This is a nice play to use, as he was expecting me to Dynamax the... That's hilarious, actually. So he is going to force my Gigalith to switch out here because of the Eject button, but he just put a Choice Band onto his Sableye, so his Sableye can only use Trick now. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send out Dracozolt and hope that he tricks... So if he tricks Dracozolt, he'll get the Assault Vest, which prevents him from using status moves, which is all Sableye knows. So then it becomes literally useless. Or he gets Choice Scarf off of the Dracovish, and he's still stuck using nothing but Trick. So he's put himself in an awkward spot here. We're very far behind, but it's a bit of a funny situation now for sure. I think we actually Airstream here, just in case there's a switch into the Charizard or the Ninetales. We're going to leave the Sableye out, because we don't care about the Sableye. Do we lock into Fishious Rend? I think we do, because I can always switch the Gigalith back in. And we don't know that he's running Sun in the back. It's likely that he is, but... Actually, Fishious Rend is not very good against a lot of this. What's our best move here? Fishious Rend is our best move. Even when it's not very effective, it's still just chunky damage. Sylveon will not sweep us. If it stays in, it dies. Sylveon is slower than both of these mons.
I'm really hoping
And,
he switches
usually-
the
so-
Assault Vest.
Sorry, usually this would actually be a concern because Sableye carries Quash, which delays our move to go last in our priority bracket. But Quash is not Trick, and he's Choice Banded into using nothing but Trick. So, there is that concern. So here comes Trick. Oh, the Dynamax on the Sylveon's interesting. I still think it dies. Now, the issue is Max Airstream is not the strongest move I could have used here. But Sylveon has very, very bad physical defense. I think it still dies because I chose Fishious Rend. If I chose another move, it definitely would live. But it only has 65 base defense, and both of these mons are physical. So, wait, what? Okay, so that works differently than I thought it did. I guess he has the opportunity to choose another move. Huh. But we're Assault Vest, so we don't really care. The Sylveon still dies. Now we know that he's definitely choiced into Quash. I was not super familiar with how that ended up working now, but he is choiced into Quash, which is a much better move to be choiced into.
I guess it's because he didn't select it with the choice item equipped.
Yeah, that's probably how it functions. This is fine, though. The Sylveon doesn't quite go down, but he can't Quash both of us. So, Assault Vest on Dracosult is not uncommon, but it's also not uncommon to run Life Orb on it. So, if that was a Life Orb Dracosult, then we would absolutely be dead. So we're going to double into the Sylveon here. It can Max Guard, but then nothing happens because he uses Quash at Sableye. So I guess he can switch, but I'm not super concerned about that. I guess we just go for another Airstream. Keep boosting up that speed, Reno. This person was definitely expecting that to kill the Dracosult. Using the Dynamax on that now is very, very, very concerning for them. I'm a little bit surprised that they're not going for the Max Guard here, just to try to stall one turn of our Dynamax. But I'll take it. By stalling our Dynamax, that then puts us back in a position where Hustle can cause us to miss. So it would make sense to try to stall it out, but they're choosing not to. With that done, we need to get rid of this. We need to get rid of this Sableye. The Sableye is being real annoying. This is gonna help, but it won't KO it, I don't think. All right, that's fine. Ninetales would be my perfect mon. I would love to see Ninetales here.
Because then you can just overwrite the sun with
Exactly.
Gigalith.
Now, it's a little weird. I mean, I think if this is Choice Band, I think we just kill the Urshifu. We outspeed it with both of our Mons. If it's Focus Sash, it will live. And it will not die to Sandstorm, because on the last turn of Sandstorm, Sandstorm stops. It doesn't actually do damage. But yeah, we're just going to double into the Urshifu here. It's not the Water Urshifu, so it won't resist Vicious Rent. He actually withdraws that, so this is probably going to be Ninetales coming on in. Oh, it's a Dracosult. Oh, that's unfortunate for them. So Sucker Punch is nice, but we're not Life Orb. If we were Life Orb, the recoil from the Life Orb would take us out here, but we're not Life Orb, so it's not going to. And also, the Sand is not going to take us out either. The Sand wouldn't anyway. I think it does 11 damage to us. Yeah, Dracovish Go Burr is Gen 8 VGC, not in a nutshell, but it's there's a lot. I mean, if you see a Dracovish, all 4 of Dracovish's moves are Vicious Rend. It's just like, it's why you run Dracovish. So now he's reset the Choice Band. But if he uses Fake Out, he can't, he's gonna struggle then, because he can't, he's just gonna, like, there's nothing else he can do. So we just Dragon Claw here, I think. And I guess we Vicious Rend into this. Like, it resists, but it's Vicious Rend, so it's still gonna do a chunk. Dracosult is not the most beefy thing physically. So they're in a bit of a rough spot where they now have to consider if they want to use Fake Out. They're choosing not to use Fake Out. I think that's definitely the play. I'm interested to see whether or not their Dracosult is Life Orb. Oh, that's not the smartest thing to use. Oh, we both missed! So Stomping Tantrum is interesting because it's a 75 base power move, but we both got Hustle misses. Both of those were 20%. That's kind of funny.
Wow.
It helps me, though, for sure. Like, I can't use Aerial Ace because it wouldn't kill, but GG. So that was that was Hustle in a nutshell. And I think that's a good thing a good way to end the games. I think we'll call it on a win. I like those last 2 games. We got to win with a full board clear explosion, and then we got to meme around with Mr. Fish. In the words of the great Wolf Glick, thank you, Mr. Fish.
Someone was asking in chat about the items right at the end there, so why don't you show the team?
Yeah, we can go back to
we
can talk about the team a little bit. That'll also show off the rental code if you guys want to take this team. This one is not my team, but it's one that's been going around a little bit. I got it from Jocario. I do know that it's not his team, but it's been going around. So we can talk a little bit about the items then. I showed off the weakness policy on Hatterini in game 1. The weakness policy, usually if you're running a weakness policy, about 90% of the time, you're going to have a way on your own team to proc that weakness policy. To reiterate what that does, if you get hit with a super effective move, it gives you +2 attack and +2 special attack, so it effectively doubles whichever attack stat you're using. And we run Bullet Punch on Riolu for the purpose of proccing that. Bullet Punch is a very weak Steel-type move, which is super effective against Hatterini's Fairy typing. And it is also a priority move, so it's a guaranteed way, essentially, for us to proc that weakness policy. Drake Assault's Assault Vest. We saw why it has Assault Vest in the last game. If it wasn't Assault Vest, it would have absolutely died to that Sylveon. But it's Assault Vest, so it didn't. Choice Scarf on Dracovish is because Vicious Rend has that doubling in power if you go first. Dracovish is a medium speed Pokemon. It's 75 base speed, which is not super fast, but it's fast enough that with Choice Scarf, it effectively outspeeds everything, which is nice. And Life Orb on Delmice. Basically, if you're playing an offensive team, most teams will have a Life Orb on it somewhere. Things like Weakness Policy, Choice Band, they're stronger than the Life Orb, but they're less reliable. The Life Orb it increases all damage by 1.3 times, and its downside is that it deals a little bit of damage to you each turn, which is a much less it's much less of a downside compared to like Choice Band, right? Choice Band, though, it multiplies your attack by 1.5 times instead of 1.3 times, so it's a little bit stronger, higher risk, higher reward kind of thing. Focus Sash on the Riolu is just because Riolu is made of paper because it's a first stage evolution. I think it might even technically be a baby Pokemon. I'm not sure if it's technically a baby Pokemon, but it's not a very strong Pokemon defensively. It has 40 HP, base HP, 40 base defense, and 40 base special defense. So it dies to everything. So having Focus Sash prevents it from dying to at least one hit. And then the Choice Band on the Gigalith. We saw why that's a thing. It's big strong.
Yeah, that is very cool, Hangy. Do you actually have any final shout-outs? And,
Yeah.
Maybe talk about, again, just reiterate what's coming up in the next week for you and kind of what you do on your stream?
Yeah, so Pokemon makes up about 50% of my content these days, maybe a little bit more. I've been doing kind of a bunch of everything. I don't speedrun Pokemon that much anymore. I'm trying to get back into Pokemon Let's Go slowly but surely. My main speed game is Skies of Arcadia Legends. I need to get a better time in that game soon because I don't like my time right now. I don't think it's very good. So I'll be working on that when my Pokemon schedule calms down a little bit. But yeah, so in the next coming week or so, I'm going to be streaming a lot of VGC. I'm going to be streaming a tournament tomorrow, which is a smaller online tournament. The day after that, I'll be streaming if I make top cut of that tournament. Then the 21st, 22nd, 23rd are going to be the IC, which are going to be 3 pretty long streams of me playing my games in that tournament. So those are also the one tomorrow is Series 6 and the IC is Series 5, so it'll be 2 different teams, which is going to be kind of fun. And as for shoutouts, I'm just going to... So I guess I'll start with my own plugs. Please follow my stream. I stream quite often. I do VGC stuff, speedrun stuff. I've been doing a playthrough of all of the StarCraft 2 campaigns on Brutal, where I try to get all of the achievements on Brutal, including the ones that aren't meant to be obtained on Brutal, because I used to be a professional StarCraft 2 player. Yeah, follow my Twitter, because I like posting on Twitter when I go live and when I'm playing tournaments and such, or when I'm doing things like this. And yeah, so as for other shoutouts, we've had some cool people in the chat as we've been through the stream, so I guess I'll reiterate a couple of those. Wartab was in here earlier, one of the best Pokemon speedrunners in the world, speedruns all kinds of Pokemon games, big brain guy. Jin Furai was in here earlier, definitely follow his stream for VGC stuff, and I think he also speedruns Monster Hunter, so also a speedrunner as well. And finally, as of right now, Pokethon is going on. Hold on, let me figure out what the link is for that. Pokethon is basically, I'm actually not super familiar with Pokethon, but it's basically a Pokemon showcase, which showcases all sorts of different Pokemon stuff. They did VGC earlier. Steph of Anime and Cybertron were doing some VGC. I think there was a Pokemon Crystal Randomizer Catch-em-all going on earlier, or something. I briefly checked in. But it's a lot of Pokemon-related stuff. They're raising money for charity. I'm not sure which charity, but a lot of really, really awesome people from the Pokemon community are on that stream. So definitely go check that out as well. I'm just going to post a link to that in the chat. And that should be going on for, I believe, the next few days. Other than that, I think that's it.
All right. Thank you very much, Pengy. I just want to remind everyone that tomorrow we actually have the Mario 35th anniversary, I guess, kind of showcase going on here on the GDQ channel. Mario Anniversary celebration starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, where we're going to be running through a lot of different Mario games. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And also check out all of the GDQ Hotfix VODs as well as past GDQ runs on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. And with that, I want to thank everyone for tuning into Game Masters here, where we showcase off things that aren't quite speedrunning, but really do show off that people spend a lot of time in other parts of games as well. And with that, everyone have a good night and take care.